Roman and Russian athletes competing at the 1976 Montreal Games. They'd be tested the day before competition. Dick Pound telling the Herald Sun players able to self-report to avoid testing on game day completely undoes the rationale of clean athletes. The AFL has strongly denied any wrongdoing with its illicit drug policy, despite it being reviewed. The criticism is as a former jockey is calling for tougher sanctions. Jamie Evans, who lost everything to a heroin addiction, wants players to be rubbed out for a couple of games and fined $10,000 so they'll, quote, wake up to themselves.
Gather round, FIVEAA is building. Mel Asher says we'll welcome more visitors this year as the AFL calls Adelaide home for 4 days.
Gather Round Week is upon us, and the economic boost to South Australia this time around is expected to be well up on 2023. The inaugural event was worth around $83 million to the state, two-thirds of that coming from outside visitors. Nearly 40% of all tickets sold this time have been to footy fans, either interstate or overseas, from the US and UK to Hong Kong and Singapore. Many hotels will be at capacity. Elder Park will once again be a footy festival hotspot, attracting up to 100,000 people. There'll also be a Gather Round live site in the mall, drawing more traffic to the city's premier shopping strip. Further afield, the Norwood Food and Wine Festival returns on Sunday to coincide with a fixture on the parade, and Mount Barker is getting ready for its close-up across the weekend.
Melbourne scientists are set to investigate if there's a link between gut health and increased blood pressure. Researchers at Monash University suspect the leakiness of a gut can lead to hypertension. Elvis is in town. Elvis, a musical revolution, opens at Her Majesty's tonight. Producer David Venn says it's the king of rock and roll's life story, featuring more than 40 of his songs.
Right from very humble beginnings when he was a child through to the 1968 comeback and right through to big celebration of his big Vegas hits.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Adelaide and Melbourne will release their sides later this afternoon ahead of the opening match of Gather Round, which will be held tomorrow night at Adelaide Oval. The Crows will have to make at least 2 changes, with Wayne Miller out for the season with a knee injury, while Lockie Murphy is also out for up to 5 weeks with a knee injury. Meantime, Richmond forward Liam Baker will miss Sunday's clash against St Kilda after his one-match ban for rough conduct was upheld at the AFL Tribunal. The Tigers will also be without Tom Lynch and Noah Bolter with long-term injuries. But defender Nathan Broad has told Wide World of Sports his side is still in the premiership window.
I still see us in the window. Like, we had one on the bench after half-time against Carlton who are obviously up there, and we just go down by a kick, and we take it to Sydney on the weekend with a younger group and some experienced players out too. So I'm really bullish at where our list is at, and I know internally we are really optimistic, and we've got some amazing kids.
A stack of English Premier League games are on this morning, and Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham are off to a dream start away against West Ham.
Flash it across the face of the goal, and it's beautifully worked by Tottenham, and Brennan Johnson coming in from the opposite flank did for Spurs what Bowen couldn't do at the other end.
That goal coming in only the 5th minute, audio thanks to Optus. It's still 1-0 there about 15 minutes in, while in other games Newcastle is 1-0 up against Everton at half-time, while Nottingham Forest is smashing Fulham 3-0. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
And now the FIVEAA Gather Round forecast.
There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
A shower 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 22, Friday sunny 24, Saturday sunny 25, Sunday partly cloudy 24. Right now it's 14. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
AFL Gather Round returns to Adelaide this weekend. To celebrate, KG and Cornsey are taking the Saturday morning sports show on the road. Live from the Barker Hotel this Saturday from 9 a.m. Make sure you stop by and take in all the pre-match atmosphere before the Sydney Swans and West Coast Eagles clash at Summit Oval in Mount Barker. It's all thanks to the Barker Hotel and FIVEAA, always Adelaide. Try the Barker's spacious bistro, lounge and bars for quality food and family fun in Mount Barker. Book at thebarkerhotel.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
When you said this getaway was going to be intense,
Yeah.
I didn't think you meant intense.
Surprise! That could be a problem.
Take that tense feeling out of camping with an AusTrack camper.
Holiday Wonders are celebrating new incredible day trips, including their magical Wonders of Safari tour with convenient departures from Adelaide City and Mitcham. Get up close with exotic and native animals at Monado Safari Park, one of the world's largest open safari zoos, while learning from an experienced keeper how they're being saved from extinction. Plus, enjoy a delicious morning tea and picnic lunch all included from just $140 per person. holidaywonders.com.au.
Jayco's Mega Easter Stock Sale is now on. Hop on down for exciting deals on all MY23 Jayco dealer stock. Save across the range. There's never been a better time to jump in a Jayco. Visit Jayco Adelaide today. End soon.
Our community is alive and we all deserve to enjoy it. For those who need in-home support or community access, Always Care is always there to assist with everything from shopping and appointments to outings such as movies, the beach, sport, classes or social events. If you or a loved one requires in-home, personal or nursing care or company while out and about, Always Care is NDIS approved and passionate about helping all live their life to the fullest. Find out more at alwayscare.com.au.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6:09, good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday on 5AA Breakfast. This is the 3rd of April. Lots to talk about this morning. Koshi's going to join us on the show. We're going to talk house prices with Koshi. Nothing about house prices has behaved as expected in an environment with interest rates that have gone up. And it's led to a situation where, as we spoke about in the program yesterday, we have record levels of occupation for rental properties. There is a housing crisis, and perhaps nowhere is it more acutely felt than here in South Australia. So we'll talk to Koshi about that. Josh Rochelle from the Adelaide Football Club after 8 o'clock. The Crows coach Matthew Nick said yesterday in his press conference they've solved the issue. They've got to the bottom of why they've started so badly. We'll find out what the answer is with Josh Rochelle after 8 o'clock today. Jade Robran is out on the road covering the big local stories for us, and we have gather round tickets out the wazoo. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Up the wazoo indeed. We are going to be doing the excellent quiz again today that Lucy pioneered so well yesterday. She'll be joining us. I think it's hourly. You never know when she's going to appear, so make sure you're listening for all 3 hours of the program. But we were getting into it at home last night. I wonder if many of our listeners caught the Channel 9 extravaganza at the entertainment centre. And I think from the looks of the crowd, it looked like they had about 5,000 or 6,000 people there. It was really good. And we spoke to Eddie Maguire only a month or so ago about this big night of sort of old-fashioned variety show. And the thing I really liked about it was just, seeing how many average punters were just getting along going. And I presume they didn't have to pay for tickets. It wasn't a ticketed event.
They didn't?
I don't know. Did they?
At the entertainment centre, surely it was.
Oh, no, apparently, no. Okay, it was about $30. Really? Well, that's pretty amazing that in such a short space of time, from setting it up, because I thought 9 would have been one of those things where they wanted the audience to look big, so they would have let a lot of people in.
Well, I'm guessing it's one of those things where the business model these days is you put a price on it, and if they don't sell, you give away comp tickets left, right and centre. You just give away 10,000 tickets. But obviously, they didn't need to do that. It's the point you make about an old-fashioned variety TV show is right.
Yeah,
this doesn't
like
exist.
Hey Hey or something.
Like Hey Hey.
Yeah, with, musical acts.
Like the original footy show that this was based on. But all that kind of television, that doesn't exist. There'd be a generation of people that grew up with it too, that to go along to something like that would have been an absolute thrill.
For the people who are understandably cynical about the outlay of public money on all of this, if you watch a show like last night's, and bear in mind that, it would have had a big audience interstate. There would have been all the sort of footy mad people who are normally watching Footy Classified and that would have tuned in for it, thinking, oh, there's gather rounds on. I might see what's going on with that. So many of the segments in it, and I would presume that quite clearly some money did change hands, and this is where it becomes not just as content, but from a commercial proposition. It makes sense for Channel 9 to do it because they know that they're going to get the ads. But there were so many, and I'm not even sure if some of the content was actually an ad disguised as content. But they had like Melbourne Football Club here for the whole fortnight. So they played Port last week, they played the Crows on Thursday. But as part of the whole show, you had Christian Petrarca went to Coffin Bay with his girlfriend. And they're eating these oysters. And he's going, my God, I've never tasted anything. This is the best oyster I've ever eaten in my life. And then you had...
that has to be part of the deal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's either... Because it looked like SA tourism content.
Yeah.
But it was brilliantly made. Like, it was really interesting.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter who makes it, because the message is... There's this place in South Australia called Coffin Bay. Look at those aerial shots of Coffin Bay. I've never been to Coffin Bay. Hey... Beryl, maybe we should go to Coffin Bay, says the couple living in Frankston, Victoria. So, you know, that part of it is a huge draw card, I think, for a state that's historically been undervisited. But beyond that, it's just a lot of fun. And if you were there, folks, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
822
Or you can shoot us a text on the Duttons text line. Duttons April Adventure bonus up to $2,000 free genuine accessories. Duttons, easy to do business with. 14 after 6, news headlines in a moment.
You've selected your block up on the York Peninsula, and now you just want to be there every weekend. Selector Homes have been building transportable homes for over 25 years. They have a huge range of designs, and importantly, their team really listen and are totally flexible with design options. You're not only selecting a fixed price with no hidden costs, you're selecting the best weekends ever. Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
Southern Steel Supplies, a company forged over 40 years ago, has supported those building our great state. From DIY home projects to major commercial construction and trade. You'll find Southern Steel in buildings and backyards all over South Australia. So, if it's steel you need, we have it all. With steel processing cut to any size or shape, delivering near and far. Southern Steel Supplies, Lonsdale, Murray Bridge, Gawler and Renmark. southernsteelsupplies.com.au. The South Australian Steel Company.
Whether you're gathering round the telly or round the oval, footy's always better with Macca's, the official partners of the AFL Gather Round.
And thanks to our great mates at Macca's and the original Mouthful Mac family range, we're giving you the chance to win a money-can't-buy experience to the Port Adelaide v Essendon match this Friday night down the road at the mighty Adelaide Oval.
You'll be heading to the match via zip line across the Torrens from the AFL Macca's Gather Round Footy Festival. Then you'll experience the exclusive pre-game viewing by the boundary line during the team warm-ups before you get to settle into the game.
Now, you'll be loving this news too. The one-of-a-kind Big Mac is now three-of-a-kind with the Mac Junior and the Grand Big Mac. Now there's one for every kind of hungry. I didn't know that. That's excellent news.
Adelaide, get pumped to Gather Round, all thanks to Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different in a Dave Benson caravan. There's never any roadworks when you're driving Aussie made, and you'll always find a park that's nestled safely in the shade. The magpies will stop swooping, the kangaroos give way. You won't see a single mosquito at the end of each perfect day. And if the coppers pull you over, they won't wreck your plans when you tell them you bought Aussie made from Dave Benson Caravans.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
16 minutes after 6, as we just mentioned during the break, Macca's have provided the ultimate Gather Round experience that we're going to be telling you how you can get amongst and win before 7 o'clock this morning. Also, I see Lucy shuffling her quiz question cards, which means our very own Gather Round quiz is not too far away. We'll be sending you to Gather Round. Look, the games are all sold out. If you want to get them, make sure you're listening to us here on 5AA Breakfast. That's the only place you'll be able to get tickets. Let's have a look at the news headlines. The IDF have claimed responsibility, or taken responsibility, I should say, for an airstrike which killed an Australian aid worker and 6 others in Gaza. The family of Zomi Frankham are remembering her as kind, selfless and understanding. Relatives say they're still reeling from the shock, and she'll leave behind a legacy of compassion, bravery and love.
It's a shocking story, and I'll tell you what, like Netanyahu, this guy is so... increasingly, it's just looking like one sort of disaster after another, I think, with the huge and indefensible loss of civilian life. And I know there's complications, Gaza hiding its operations under hospitals and schools and so forth. But having said that, there is really no excuse for the seemingly indiscriminate nature of the response to what was clearly a complete outrage. October 7 was an outrage and it necessitated some sort of response. But the response seems to be so indiscriminate that Israel's going to end up having less support post-October 7 than it did before, don't you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think they've almost been unashamed about that, saying that they've got one goal in mind, it's the elimination of Hamas
and retrieving the hostages.
And retrieving the hostages, and they've sort of taken the view that, there's no negotiating on that.
But I agree with both those things. Wipe out Hamas, sure. Get back as many of the hostages as you can, fine. But where do the aid workers fit into that? I mean, this is a charity that was started by this Spanish chef after the terrible earthquakes in Haiti in 2010, when all those in that godforsaken country, and he just went. He's working in a Michelin-starred restaurant in Spain, and he went, I want to do something with real meaning. That's why he set up this charity.
The analysis on how this happened makes it even more confusing, because it's all logged. Like, none of this is up to, I wonder what they did. Did they take a wrong turn? Was there a miscommunication? They literally had to go through multiple IDF checkpoints to register exactly where they were going to prevent this precise thing. Like, one of the things that needs to be coordinated in the early days of conflict is, how does aid get in and out? It's all logged. Their movements are all recorded. And bizarrely, the 3 cars in the convoy got hit separately. It wasn't one bomb that blew up and killed everybody. They were clearly targeted by accident. And that should be impossible. So we're going to learn more about that. Zomi Frankham sounds like just... All the pictures of her that have come out are her volunteering at their CFS.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind of person that just goes to where there's trouble to try and help. It's an awful story. The Prime Minister has launched Australia's largest defence export deal in the nation's history. Queensland will produce 100 heavily armoured vehicles as part of a $1 billion arrangement with Germany. The deal will create 600 direct jobs and hundreds more indirect positions. Anthony Albanese says it shows Australia is still regarded as a manufacturing powerhouse.
Defence, agriculture, energy, advanced manufacturing, information technology, as all areas where we can make more things here in Australia in order to make sure that we can secure our future.
I don't know if we're a manufacturing powerhouse, but we might become a defence manufacturing powerhouse. I think these sorts of deals that are coming about now demonstrate our competitive advantage. We can't build cars as well as they can, as cheaply as they can in China and Thailand. But if you want a heavily armoured vehicle or a complex piece of military technology, you're going to want it built in a place like Australia, which is the opportunity. It's going to be a busy weekend, this weekend in Adelaide, because along with Gather Round, Elvis has come to town. Elvis, the musical revolution, starts playing at Her Majesty's Theatre tonight. It will be in Adelaide until the end of the month. Producer David Venn says it's a stage show for everyone.
There's obviously the fans that know Elvis and grew up with Elvis, but there is a whole new generation and even a whole heap of kids that have now been opened up to this world. And from our side, it's such a privilege and an exciting thing that we can help to keep his legacy alive.
We spoke with Annie Chiswell, from here in Adelaide, who was playing Priscilla in the show a while back when the show was first launched and coming to town.
That'll be big.
El Nino is coming to an end, according to the Weather Bureau. Surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean are expected to return to a neutral phase by later this autumn. 4 out of 7 international climate models are predicting La Niña by winter, but Australian meteorologists are yet to make the same prediction. Well, that was short-lived, wasn't it? I think
after the job they did predicting how summer was going to pan out, I think people take all this stuff with a grain of salt now.
Well, they've been on a great run.
No.
If you're in a footy tipping comp and you'd followed them for the last few years, you're picking someone else next year, aren't you?
Yeah. No, they're not getting too many, 8 out of 9s.
13.1 degrees outside in the city at the moment. Top of 21 expected today. Light shower or two possible. 22 tomorrow. 24 on Friday. 25 Saturday. 24 on Sunday. 24 Monday with maybe a little bit of rain. Same 2 for Tuesday. 21 next week. Lucy's in the studio, which means it's time to give away some Gather Round tickets. Morning, Luce.
Yes, good morning for our early listeners. 8223 0055. If you would like your first opportunity to win some sold-out Gather Round tickets, they are a 4-day pass. It's a double. You can take a mate to all of the Adelaide Oval games this weekend. So if you want to play the Gather Round quiz, call in now, 8223 0055.
Speaking of tickets, Luce, Tiffany texted in on the Duttons text line saying that the Footy Variety Show last night was $35 a ticket for an individual or $120 for a family. So thanks to Tiffany for clearing that up.
Excellent. Now the quiz, it's pre-7, so I've made the first question, I reckon, quite easy.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Then we'll see how it goes. So a reminder, if you didn't hear it yesterday, if you are the first caller and you get a question wrong, the same question goes to the second caller. And we keep going till someone gets the third correct answer.
The third answer is the one that's the money answer.
That's right.
Let's go to Prospect. Dom, the Dominator, good morning.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, mate.
His Dom is good.
How are you feeling, Dom? Are you confident?
Oh, a bit nervous, mate. We'll give it a go.
Excellent.
Give it a go.
You'll be right, Dom.
First question. What year did the Adelaide Crows enter the AFL competition?
Oh, wow. 85?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dom. That is not correct. So we go then to Luke, who gets the same question. Morning, Luke. Did you hear that? When did the Adelaide Crows enter the AFL comp?
Was it 91?
Absolutely was. Congratulations, Luke. All right, question number 2. Geographically, which is closer to the Adelaide CBD, Stirling or Aldgate?
Oh.
Stirling.
Yes, it is.
Well done.
Because you drive through Stirling to get to Aldgate. Now, Luke, for the win, for the tickets, this double pass to all Adelaide Oval games this weekend. There was once a chocolate shop located directly opposite Hague's at the top of Rundle Mall. Do you know what that shop was?
Can we give it a little clue?
It's the name is 2 words.
2 words. It's a name, a person's name.
Oh, nah.
Not sure.
Sorry, Luke.
Sorry, Luke.
Luke was doing so well.
I'll give you all a hint. The third question is the hardest one, but that's
Okay.
all right. Steve in Victoria, I don't know how well, Steve, you know our Rundle Mall, but hopefully you've been once before.
I'll give it a shot. I don't, not 100%, but I'll say Daryl Lee.
Oh,
mate!
Steve!
Are you in Victoria, Steve, or are you in Adelaide?
I
at the
am,
moment?
mate.
So what are you going to do with Gather Round tickets for this weekend?
We're coming down for Gather Round.
Oh, fantastic.
Whereabouts are you currently, Steve? Have you left early this morning?
No, not yet. I'm at work in Swan Hill at the moment.
Swan Hill, mate. Did you ever go to the Quo Vadis Pizza Bar?
I have, yes.
I love that joint.
Yes.
Swan
it's beautiful.
Swan Hill's beautiful. So, has it got to the point where Victorians are so mad to get their hands on Gather Round tickets that they're ringing
100%.
Adelaide's favourite breakfast show to win them?
100%. 100%.
Who do you go for, mate?
I'll go for Collingwood.
Yeah, right. What do you make of the start? You worried?
A little. But we'll see what happens. It's a long season.
It's hard to be stressed when you've just won the premiership, though, isn't it?
That's right, exactly. We've had our chance.
Good
Well, we've got to share it around.
Us Crows fans are worried too, Steve, so we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the afterglow of 98 wasn't so long ago. Thank you.
It was like only yesterday.
Thank you, Steve, and congratulations. Well, I mean, that just adds another level of complication to the Gather Round ticket giveaway, doesn't it? We've got cross-border
What about that?
call-ins happening.
Steve from Swan Hill.
Well, there's nowhere else to get Gather Round tickets. Every other radio station's on holidays at the moment.
That's right. What a pack of bludgers they are.
So, makes a lot of sense.
Didn't we just get back from, like, the summer break?
Yeah.
They already need a bit of a
feels
lie
like
down, do
yesterday.
they?
Apparently
Well,
so.
it's not like there's anything happening in Adelaide this week, so why would you want a locally based radio station to cover?
We should say, except our good friends at Nova. They've decided to stick it out.
No, they're good.
They're
They're good.
Now, Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. Enjoy 10-year warranty and cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Boys, a lot of Tottenham fans out there, or, I think soccer fans that just like Tottenham as their second side, given Ange Postecoglou. Big game in the Premier League. They're 1-1 with West Ham close to half-time there. So we'll keep you updated, but they need to win that if they want to finish in the top 4, which means Champions League next season. They've got to win that. They took the lead early, but unfortunately have given up an equaliser since. Couple of things. Teams tonight for the Crows and Melbourne. Listened to Darcy Fogarty last night on the sports show. Interested to hear him say, we're getting sucked into the ball too much. Just need to hold our shape a bit better, bring more pressure when we are around the ball. So I hope it's as simple as that, that they can just tweak a few things and she'll be right. 2 changes at least. Wayne Miller and Lockie Murphy out, both with knee injuries. Miller of the season, Murphy up to 5 weeks. So we'll see what changes tonight. Rowie and Timmy G will have you covered. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was, I thought it was good actually. I thought the AFL were proactive yesterday. Laura Kane, who's the GM of footy, had this to say about Jack Ginnivan. Now, this is just part of what she said. I'll explain afterwards, saying that they don't adjudicate him differently to other players. Let's have a listen.
We don't have a different set of rules for a player. We don't have a different set of rules for a club or a team, and we officiate our games all the same way within the rules, and our umpires are highly skilled at that. But what we will continue to do is review.
What she also did say is that they made mistakes, and I'm glad they said that, because I watched that game, and I'm sure you guys did too, the Hawks Geelong, and I think there is no doubt there's a Jack Ginnivan tax out there.
Completely.
And there's a Toby Green tax out there. You cannot tell me that if Jack Ginnivan was wearing Joel Selwood's number and Guernsey, that he wouldn't have got 12 free kicks on Monday, or another player. It was ludicrous.
Well, yeah, they get a tax. Joel Selwood had a career worth of getting a rebate. Now, he was a champion of the game, but they do. And I actually think, to be honest, it happens across all sport.
Yeah.
Superstars get called differently.
Absolutely.
They always get the benefit of the
No
doubt.
question.
Which I kind of get the subconscious bias component of it. But the Ginnivan stuff on the weekend was dangerous.
A couple of times he nearly had his head ripped off.
Yeah,
I didn't see the game, but the issue is, from what I've read about it, there's a view that he sort of slides down,
And
drops
then
his neck.
throws his head back.
Yeah.
And she did say, don't lead with your head, and I think that's totally fair. But when he's grabbed around the neck, give him the free kick. Like, he deserves the free kick. He's
It's almost,
going hard at the
that
ball.
game felt like less umpires saying, we don't like Jack Ginnivan, than the umpires saying we don't like to be shown up by stages and people playing for free kicks. And it was a bit like, well, Sonny Jim, if that's how you're going to play the game, guess what? You don't get any free kicks. And I reckon a lot of people would go, good. But it went too far. It was farcical. It undermined the quality of the contest.
Yeah, no question. And you know what? Call them each one on its merit. And I know it's difficult. There might be this, subconscious bias, but you've got to call it as you see it. And I think at the moment he's getting the rough end of the pineapple. Never understood that expression, to be honest. There's not a smooth end.
That's true.
Well, the rough end is the end with the leaves on it is the rougher end.
Right.
If you had to get your bum rubbed with a pineapple, you'd go for the bottom end, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, or you just wouldn't.
Still be pretty rough.
Just avoid
mate.
pineapples.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
But we'll keep an eye on how Ginnivan gets adjudicated this weekend. It'll be
Absolutely.
fascinating.
All right, 5AA News Time. We'll be back with Jade Robran very shortly. And also, we'll be launching our Macca's Ultimate Gather Round experience before 7 o'clock. So make sure you stay listening for that.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
The shower 2 and 21 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed an Israeli attack led to the deaths of 7 aid workers in Gaza, including an Australian woman. Europe correspondent Brett McLeod.
In what he calls a tragic incident, the Israeli Prime Minister said the IDF hit the aid convoy unintentionally. 7 aid workers were killed, 6 foreign nationals, including Australian Zomi Frankham. Israeli media reports they were travelling in a 3-car convoy. Their vehicles hit in 3 separate strikes, despite clearly identifying they belonged to a charity. The White House has urged Israel to release its investigation findings quickly, while aid of 240 tonnes of food being carried by ship from Cyprus to Gaza has turned back.
We've just had the second worst month of ramping at Adelaide hospitals. Emergency patients were kept waiting outside public hospitals for 4,095 hours in March. Health Minister Chris Picton has admitted the health system is under pressure, but says more beds are being added to the system. Another flu vaccine is now available for free to eligible vulnerable Australians. Flucelvax is developed in mammalian cells rather than chicken eggs, meaning it can adapt to match the virus strains most likely to be prevalent this flu season. Infectious disease expert Professor Robert Boy says that gives it a major advantage.
Flucelvax is grown in mammalian cells. That means in the cells of a dog. And the virus that makes the vaccine doesn't mutate when it's grown in mammalian cells, because that's like human cells.
El Niño is coming to an end, according to the Weather Bureau. Surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean are expected to return to a neutral phase by later this autumn. 4 out of 7 international climate models are forecasting La Niña by winter, but Australian meteorologists are yet to make the same prediction. The founding president of the World Anti-Doping Agency has likened the AFL's drug testing regime to state-run programs allowing athletes to cheat in East Germany. Dick Pound says players being able to self-report to avoid testing on game day completely undoes the rationale of clean athletes. He's told the Herald Sun there's similarities to the 1976 Montreal Games, when East German and Russian athletes were tested the day before competition. Well, it's Gather Round Eve and the spotlight is on Adelaide. The influx of visitors is underway as we become the footy capital of Australia this weekend. The inaugural event was worth around $83 million to the state, 2/3 of that coming from outside visitors. Nearly 40% of all tickets sold this time around have been to footy fans either interstate or overseas. Last night's Gather Round Spectacular at the Entertainment Centre was broadcast across Australia on the 9 network. Port's Connor Rosie telling the country Adelaide is the place to be.
Yeah, it's amazing. Clearly we've only got 2 teams, so to have the whole competition here for the whole weekend, I think is just an amazing thing for our whole state, and we usually put on a pretty good show.
And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And Tom Wren, Gather Round fever is growing.
Isn't it? It's just outstanding. There's a real buzz about the city at the moment. Connor Rosie was bang on with that comment. Let's start with football, Graham, and Adelaide forward Darcy Fogarty. He's hopeful a couple of tweaks to the way the Crows play will prove a major difference for tomorrow night's clash against Melbourne. Fogarty telling Rowie and Timmy G they're aware they need to approach things differently.
A real change for us this week is we're going to try and hold a bit more shape around the ground, and we're going to get after it. I think we're lacking a little bit of pressure around the ball and losing our shape a little bit. So I think they're 2 fixes that'll hold us in good stead, I think.
Yeah, let's hope so. Both sides will release their teams a little later this afternoon. Let's go to soccer in the A-League. Melbourne City's finals hopes are hanging by a thread after losing to the Central Coast 2-1 in the A-League. In the English Premier League, West Ham has levelled things up in its match against Tottenham in their EPL London derby this morning. Spurs took the lead in just the 5th minute, but the home side hit back soon after.
Well, it's turned in by Kurt Zuma. Tottenham have an inquest, but they're not complaining to the referee. And it's 1-1.
Audio thanks to Optus. It is still 1-1 at half-time, while in other games Newcastle is still 1-0 up against Everton. Nottingham Forest leads Fulham 3-1. Burnley and Wolverhampton are locked at 1-1, while it's still goalless between Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA Gather Round forecast.
There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
A shower or 2, 21 today. Tomorrow partly cloudy, 22. Friday sunny, 24. Saturday sunny, 25. Sunday partly cloudy, 24. Right now in town it's 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses.
Program giving away the 4-day pass to Gather Round. If you, from whatever state you're listening from, if you do want to win that, you have to listen next hour and then the hour after that, and we'll have some more passes to give away. That said, the giving hasn't stopped. We've got a VIP experience for Gather Round that we're going to put someone in the running to win, potentially before 7 o'clock this hour. This is the Money Can't Buy experience, the zip line across the Torrens. This is you get to watch your team warm up in the sideline, all thanks to the great people at Macca's. There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for the AFL Gather Round. Bonus inclusions, there has never been a better time to book. So that's coming up very, very shortly. First, though, let's head out on the road and catch up with Jade Robran, who's again being driven around by the great people at Dutton's in her Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace, searching for breaking news thanks to Dutton's Volkswagen. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning. So you guys, I think, are pretty well aware of how much I love footy, and I am at fever pitch because Gather Round is just around the corner. It's all happening. I'm here on the parade, and there's a real buzz out and about. Driving up the parade this morning, the street sweep is already out and about, making the place look pretty. Of course, we've got Lions v North on Friday night on the parade. It kicks off at 4:40. Then Richmond are taking on St Kilda at 2:50 at Norwood Oval on Sunday. But with me now is Daniel, who owns Argo, one of the most famous coffee stops here on the parade. Daniel, on a level of 1 to 10, how excited are you about Gather Round?
Excited or anxious and nervous about how busy it's going to be? Probably about a 9.5.
Aren't you prepared?
I don't think you can ever be prepared. I think they're expecting 40 to 50,000 people, so it's going to be crazy.
Well, as I said, they're already starting to clean it all up. I got a letter in my letterbox the other day telling me that all the streets are starting to be closed down as of this afternoon. A lot of people are going to be out and about. What does it mean for businesses in the area?
It means that we're going to have trade that we haven't seen in probably a decade now since the old Food and Wine. So a lot of traders are going to be super excited about actually getting a boost because it has slowed off in retail recently, and it's going to highlight the parade as being that precinct that everyone loves.
The Food and Wine Festival, it hasn't been back since 2012, I think it is, a long, long time. Are you excited? Is everyone happy that it's coming back?
I think people are very happy. I think some residents are a bit anxious about what happened previously with the amount of liquor that was out. But because it's finishing at 8 o'clock, I don't think we're going to have a problem. It's going to be great weather, great day, and you're excited about the football, so that's the main thing. Yes, I am. Have you got a team? Who are you supporting? I can't answer that question, obviously. I have no idea.
Footy's the winner. Thank you so much. And it is all happening here on the parade tomorrow. Our very own 5AA presenter, Timmy Ginniver, he's going to be hosting a South Australian Sporting Legends lunch, which will be held at the City Hall here. And then, of course, as we just touched on then, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m, the Norwood Food and Wine Festival kicks on, and ARIA award-winning indie rock band Temper Trap will build out some tunes. But today, if you want to get up and close and personal with some of your favourite players, if you're a D's fan, training this morning from 9:30 at West Adelaide's Hisense Oval, and the Crows are down at Glenelg tonight at Stratorama Oval. They'll be hosting an SANFL footy clinic from 4 to 5, then they're training from 5 to 5:45. But stay listening this morning because we've got lots of tickets to give away. As we know, it is a completely sold-out event. Tickets are as rare as hen's teeth.
They are, Jade, they are.
Which explains why you got people like Steve from Swan Hill calling in from over the border to win them. That was extraordinary. If you just got up at 6:30, you missed that. But the winner of the first of the ticket giveaways today, when Lise did the quiz just before Tommy's sports segment, was a chap called Steve who rang in from Swan Hill.
Yeah, well, we don't discriminate. You can call in from wherever the hell you like. 8223 0000 is the number. Glenn's called in from Hawthorn. Morning to you, Glenn.
Good morning, boys. How are you going?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Glenn.
You please ask me how I'm going.
How are you going, Glenn?
Terrible. Right. I collapsed in the shower last night about 3 a.m. this morning. Got the ambos here. Not a problem. No worries. Anyway, we need some help. I was a previous paramedic. I started with St John's back in the days, long ago, black and white, then went blue and then green. Used to partner with Dr. Bill Griggs, 2 OAMs, and the list goes on. Now, it's still got ramping going on at the RA, and I don't know whether you know, it was only a few weeks ago that 82-year-old gentleman died in the back of an ambulance after waiting 10 hours to get through. And something's got to change. And the other thing is, this is what happened to me. Last Tuesday night, I went to the Tom Jones concert, which was fantastic. And I also met Johnny Mac there, who bought Elvis Presley's Cadillac. But that's another story. And what happened was I collapsed out the front of the tennis centre, blood pressure 212 over 95. So they send an ambo. I go to the RA. I was waiting, and I also had a possible blood clot in my leg, waiting. Anyway, I asked I suffer from depression, stress and anxiety. You cannot sit a person in the back of an ambulance for hours on end that has stress and anxiety. I got out. I went and caught the bus and I went up to the Mount Barker Country Hospital and I was in the ED within 15 minutes.
That's crazy.
Absolutely but guess what? The hospitals actually need a little bit of help at the moment themselves. Neither the FIVEAA or the Mount Barker Country Hospital have pillows in the ED. I said, please, could I have a pillow?
So, Glenn, can I just jump in? You collapsed. The Tom Jones concert was from memory, last Monday or Tuesday? So you collapsed
last Tuesday.
And you collapsed again this morning at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I got hit. This is the truth. The whole truth is nothing but the truth, and I have to do a stat deck for it. I was riding my push bike down the side street of my house to go. I live at Hawthorne. You know where Hungry Jack's is? Right. There's a pizza bar around the corner, and anyway, freaking gum tree come crashing down on top of me, knocked 5 teeth out. There's no bullshit. Sorry, guys, for swearing. I got massive gout. I got a broken big left toe. I was knocked unconscious, wedged underneath a tree branch. I left my house at 11 o'clock, and the ambos got to me about 11:45. I managed to get myself out and get myself back home, which is only a short distance.
Have you got, Glenn, can I just jump in? Have you got someone who helps you just keep the show on the road? Have you got a carer or family? Because it sounds to me like the ED's not always necessarily the place where you should be ending up. It sounds like there's other issues that need to be managed, and hopefully you're getting the help that you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got a bit going on, but we appreciate your call, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn's point on ramping was right, though. Figures released yesterday said it was a near record month in March, and not the kind of good record that we're looking for. 4,095 hours.
Second worst month ever.
Second worst month ever.
Ever.
The worst month for the FIVEAA ever. If you want to go back in time, 2022, February, so basically 2 years before, there was 1,522 hours lost to ramping. So it's well and truly more than double what it was when it was the issue which swung a state election.
The government, I saw Chris Picton's comments yesterday, and they're becoming, I think we've almost memorised them now, working in the media. What is it? There's 130 new beds already. They're putting the equivalent of a new QEH into the public hospital system by the end of this year. Well, all of that's true, but where are the results? We had to cancel elective surgery last week.
He held the press conference yesterday at the Lyle Mac, which was the only hospital that showed an improvement in ramping figures. It felt a little bit of Iraqi information minister, that whole press conference yesterday.
Comical Ali.
It felt a bit comical Ali. We are winning the war against ramping.
Yeah. While the tanks are surrounding the statue of Saddam Hussein. I don't know. Are they going to get this done within 4 years? That's the promise. Get it back to the same levels as when the Marshall government came to power by the end of this 4-year term.
Well, as of March this year, they'd have to halve it just to get it back to what it was at the end of the Marshall era within the next 2 years. I don't think they're going to do it. I think actually the more pertinent political question in South Australia now is, will it matter?
Well, I don't know. You can't go from saying, I know this was the Ambos Union who said it, but with great encouragement and working cheek by jowl with the Labor Party, how is it that in the space of 4 years you can go from vote like your life depends on it to, it's not easy? Because that's what they're trying to do.
That's what we're going to see. That is absolutely what we're going to see.
Although maybe the Dunstan by-election tells us that it is politically possible.
This is why I asked the question.
I mean, the reality is, too, that, quoting my own column here, but a lot of people haven't been ramped. A lot of people are excited about going to the footy this weekend. And that sounds like the most vacuous thing in the world, but it is the reality for the way a lot of people live.
Absolutely.
The health system is not an issue that affects them, and they're quite happy with the way things are chugging along, and they don't mind Malinauskas.
Let's head up to Lindock. Michael's called in. Morning to you, Michael.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, mate.
I just want to report an accident. There's been a head-on collision. I live in Lindock, and I'm heading into Adelaide now, just on the Gawler side of the caravan park. on the main road between Linddock and Gawler. I've just passed a couple of police cars and ambulances heading that way. We had to drive through it. Not a good look. And if you don't mind me just venting here, to the a-hole who dropped a massive burnout as soon as he cleared the scene and just carried on like an absolute dickhead, I hope you're hearing this, buddy. I hope you're hearing this. It's the late model black Holden Commodore, and it's a local car. I think I might pop around and give him an attitude adjustment. He's an absolute dickhead.
All righty.
Thank you, Michael.
Let's pull back on the swearing, folks.
Yeah.
It's early. People are waking up. We don't need to... there's plenty of words in the English language. Lots of good words that are better than some of the words that
I thought you were going to originally scold the vigilante justice component, not the poor language
yeah,
part.
that too.
That too.
Yeah, let's go around giving people attitude adjustments.
But
there's enough aggro out there.
I appreciate Michael's.
I totally appreciate the
antisocial
sentiment and his
drop
goal.
kicks. Completely. All right, let's check traffic. We've got police and weather coming up in just a moment. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. A little bit of light drizzle passing through, so the odd slippery condition, but no great dramas this morning. Just some works at Cowandilla to look out for. Marion Road near St Donald Drive. Also at Ottaway, Grain Junction Road near Rose Street. And getting slow at the moment at Kidman Park for works to Finland Road near Dillon Avenue. Look out for early morning cameras, Grain Junction Road, Hope Valley, and Langman Grove at Felixstowe. When the lucky country isn't so lucky you're with Amy. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hello. I think I've got a bit of a bug. Hopefully be right by next year.
This summer, don't fight the camping bug. Make the most of it with an Oztrack camper.
Oztrack campers.
How awesome! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has plenty of Tiguans and Amaroks in stock. Tiguan Allspace is a 7-seater with plenty of room and plenty of smarts featuring auto park, adaptive cruise control and lane assist. And the latest generation Amarok has a big 1-ton payload and 3.5-ton towing capacity. But inside, you'll get all the comforts of a luxury vehicle. There's plenty of stock that must go. Hurry in for a deal. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Now, everything under the sun cops a beating from UV rays, so cover things up. They last longer, and the same goes for you.
2 in 3 Aussies will be diagnosed with skin cancer, which kills twice as many men as women, so don't become a statistic. Be SunSmart.
It starts with checking the UV and remembering to slip, slop, slap, seek and slide every day, but there's plenty more SunSmarts where that came from.
Did you know that sunscreen takes 20 minutes to fully activate and only works for up to 2 hours? Caps offer far less protection than broad-brimmed hats. UV levels 3 and above are dangerous no matter the temperature, and tan skin is actually a sign of skin cells in trauma.
So check out our 5AA YouTube and Facebook live streams to see today's maximum UV. Download the SunSmart app, cover up and protect your skin.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
It's no surprise that Alfred James Funeral Homes is there for families in their time of need. They've been doing so for over 100 years. What may be surprising is the lengths they'll go to help you pay tribute to the life journey of your loved one. A song choice that's unconventional. A eulogy that's both heartwarming and hilarious. Oh, and launching their ashes into orbit on a SpaceX rocket. Pre-plan yours with us now. Alfred James Funeral Homes, honouring lives in extraordinary ways.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 to 7, if you want a chance to win the ultimate VIP experience for Gather Round thanks to Macca's. The Port Essendon game is the tickets we have up for grabs. In a few moments' time, we're going to put someone in the running to win that prize. First, though, let's head to the Bureau. Simon Timke is on the line. Morning to you, Simon.
Morning, Will. Morning, David.
Take us through the forecast. It's suddenly feeling a little bit coolish.
Yeah, it certainly is pretty cool, and a similar day to yesterday, I think, with a couple of light showers around the place. Looking on the radar at the moment, a couple of light showers approaching from the southwest,
just approaching Noarlunga and Glenelg at the moment. So likely to see one or two light showers during the day. I think sort of late afternoon and evening we'll probably see them clear away as the winds turn around a bit more southeasterly. Temperature-wise, as you said, pretty cool day, expecting a maximum of 21 degrees for the city. Currently here in the city, 13.9 degrees, just a bit above our overnight minimum of 13.1, which occurred about 10 past 6 this morning. The wind's pretty light at the moment too, but I expect that we'll see them, once the sun gets up, we'll see them turn around southwesterly, not too strong today, and then they'll turn around southeasterly in the evening. Temperatures around the suburbs today, 21 degrees for Glenelg, Elizabeth and Noarlunga, 19 for Mount Barker. I think dry conditions are most likely over the next couple of days. A bit of cloud around still for Thursday at times with southeasterly winds, which could be a little bit gusty around the hills and southern suburbs in the morning. 22 degrees the maximum for Thursday after an overnight minimum of 12. And then mostly sunny conditions for Friday and Saturday, and a tiny bit warmer, up to 24 degrees for Friday, 25 degrees for Saturday. I think we'll see a little bit of cloud around at times on Sunday. Should be dry though. We are expecting a couple of showers down about the southern coastal districts, so not impossible that we couldn't see one over the Adelaide area, but most likely dry. 24 degrees. And then Monday, Tuesday, I think we'll see one or two showers around on both of those days over the Adelaide area. 24 for Monday, 21 for Tuesday, guys.
Thank you, Simon. Let's head to Sopol. Senior Constable Matt Brown's on the line. Matt, a high-range drink driver's been caught in the northeastern suburbs yesterday.
That's right. Well, just before 6 p.m. yesterday, police received reports from members of the public who witnessed a car collide with a parked car on North East Road at Gillies Plains. And the driver appeared heavily intoxicated when he got out of his silver Mazda hatch. And witnesses took the car keys from the man and waited with him until police arrived. Now, the driver, a 38-year-old man from Windsor Gardens, underwent a breath test and returned a positive reading of .336, which is almost 7 times over the legal limit to drive.
That is insane.
Absolutely.
.336.
Yep, that's not a typo. It's, just simply ridiculous, really. But he was reported for driving under the influence of alcohol and aggravated driving without due care, so he was issued an immediate loss of licence notice for 12 months, and his car was impounded for 28 days, so he will be summoned to appear in court at a later date. But police would like to thank members of the public who assisted in preventing the man from driving after the crash and causing any other incidents, and anyone who witnesses any sort of dangerous or impaired driving behaviour is asked to call police immediately on 131 444, just like these witnesses did, so we're able to stop this man from hurting himself or other people.
Man, also a bloke's been arrested after stealing a car and then he was found at Christie's Downs.
That's right, David. About 8:45 p.m. last night, police spotted a stolen white Hyundai on Finbar Crescent at Christie Downs. Now, the patrol attempted to stop the car, however, the driver refused to pull over, and it was pursued briefly through the back streets before the pursuit was terminated. And the Hyundai was last seen heading south on Moreton Road, and it had been stolen from Glenelg just after 8 p.m., but Pol Air assisted in the tracking of the stolen car as it continued driving south along Victor Harbour Road. The car's tyres were spiked at the intersection of Communication Road, but it continued driving back north along Main South Road. The car eventually stopped at Barnabas Crescent in Christie Downs, where the driver ran off, but was quickly apprehended without incident by patrols. So a 32-year-old man of no fixed address was charged with illegal use of a motor vehicle, driving dangerously to escape a police pursuit, theft and driving unlicensed, and he didn't apply for bail and will appear in court today.
Good on you, Matt. Thank you. Senior Constable Matt Brown from Sopol. It's time to put someone in the running to win a VIP experience for the Gather Round Port Adelaide Essendon game Friday night at Adelaide Oval. All thanks to Macca's. There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Mac is the official partners for the AFL Gather Round. To tell you how to be part of the action and how to win, I want to take you back in time.
If you can say 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, in 4 seconds you can win a free cup of Coke. It's that simple. Just say
it's 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
In 4 seconds and you can win a free cup of Coke. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
It's 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Say it in 4 seconds and win a free cup of Coke at McDonald's.
That was the challenge, to get a free cup of Coke about 40 years ago now.
It's about 1980, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the 1980, early 80s. The challenge today is the same, except on the end of it is the VIP Gather Round experience to Port Essendon on Friday night. Now, the way this is going to work, we're going to put 8 people in the running. The fastest time for people saying that phrase will be the winner. The fastest, and it needs to be accurate, and it needs to be decipherable. You can't just make squeaking sounds. You got to do it like this.
Tall beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That was within 4 seconds. David Pemberthy managed to do it.
Well, I reckon that's from practicing at the time, because I can remember when that ad came out, when Macca's actually opened its very first restaurant here in Adelaide. I'm trying to remember which suburb that was in. Where was it? Was it in the city? Was it? I really can't remember. Let us know, folks. 822-300-00. But for now, it's all about doing what I just did.
822-300-55. If you can do it.
Tall beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
The fastest by the time we get to Friday morning will be the winner of the VIP Gather Round experience. Now, Sam Daddo's got the stopwatch. AI Sam's got the computer technology all charged up and ready to make sure we get this accurate.
AI Sam, that's what we call him.
Exactly, that's what he was calling himself.
You got to get the content right. There's no tomato in a Big Mac.
Okay.
There are the ingredients as listed in the ad and recited by me.
All
so
right.
we don't want to hear about anyone putting a hash brown in their Big Mac or anything like that.
Rick from West Lakes is the first caller through. Morning to you, Rick.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
Good, thanks, Rick.
All right. You feel like you got the wording right?
Look, those of us from the 80s, I think I'll have a fair crack at it.
All right. We will start the stopwatch as soon as
Okay.
you make a sound.
All right, here we go. 2 old beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That was class. Rick, that was good.
I salute you, Rick.
It was a clean run. It felt solid. That felt fast. That felt really fast.
I feel like Rick has thrown down the gauntlet.
Oh, my goodness,
I feel like
that
Rick
was good.
Did a better job than I did, and now the onus is on people to beat Rick. But we won't know. We won't know till we've got AI
Full
Sam
field.
to tally up all the times.
You're right. Rick feels
measure
like a
them,
good
splice
marker.
them.
Yeah, all right. We'll get an official timing on Rick, actually.
Rick's
get
out of the blocks.
We'll get an official timing, and we'll have that before the next contestant.
Enfield.
Next hour, there'll be another chance to win. Well, to be in the running to win.
Enfield was the first Adelaide Maccas, apparently.
Okay. 5AA News Time. We'll take you through a wrap of the morning stories next.
Now's the perfect time to power into a Mercedes AMG. For a limited time, you can take advantage of a 4.99% comparison rate when you finance a new Mercedes AMG with Mercedes-Benz Financial. Visit your local authorized Mercedes-Benz retailer today to make the most of this unmissable offer. Terms and conditions apply. Approved customers only. Lending criteria and fees apply. Australian credit license 247271.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
Your knowledge and skills have the power to brighten our world, so let them shine by volunteering at the new Vinnie's store in Noarlunga, where your passion for fashion, taste for trinkets, and flair for furnishings become an invaluable service to the community. You'll soon discover how a little care and kindness changes lives, including yours. Do good, feel good. Sign up to volunteer at Vinnie's Noarlunga store today. Visit vinnies.org.au/get involved. 5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower at 2 and 21 today. With the 7 o'clock news, good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
Israel's Prime Minister has taken responsibility for airstrikes which killed 7 aid workers in Gaza, including Australian Zomi Frankham. The group was distributing food when its World Central Kitchen van was struck. Benjamin Netanyahu says the attack was unintentional and is vowing to avoid future tragedies.
This happens in war. We are fully looking into it, contacting governments, and we will do everything so this incident won't happen again.
Translation thanks to the BBC. As a result of the deaths, the charity has suspended the delivery of its service. A northern suburbs driver has blown 7 times the legal limit after crashing into a parked car at Gillis Plains overnight. Members of the public took his keys away from him after the collision on North East Road and waited until police arrived. The driver, a 38-year-old man from Windsor Gardens, submitted to a breath test where he returned a positive result of .336. The man was reported for driving under the influence of alcohol and aggravated driving without due care. He was also issued a licence disqualification for 12 months and his vehicle impounded for 28 days. A new influenza vaccine has been added to the National Immunisation Program, giving vulnerable Australians another option to protect themselves. The cell-based vaccine is now available for free to eligible people at higher risk of flu complications, including pregnant women, people over 64 with a heart condition, and diabetics. Infectious disease expert Professor Robert Boy says Flucelvax Quad has been developed using dog cells, which can better adapt to virus strains in humans.
Most vaccines are grown in egg cells, chicken eggs, and that leads to mutations and are not as good a match to the WHO vaccine variant.
Ballarat Gold Mine was warned about the risk of a rockfall months before a collapse that killed a 37-year-old miner. Internal documents obtained by the ABC show a veteran geotech engineer warned management not to go ahead with a handheld drilling or an air legging trial. The engineer claims he was terminated in the week after he sent in the email. Gather Round fever is building. Mel Asher says we'll welcome more visitors this year as the AFL calls Adelaide home for 4 days.
Gather Round Week is upon us, and the economic boost to South Australia this time around is expected to be well up on 2023. The inaugural event was worth around $83 million to the state, 2/3 of that coming from outside visitors. Nearly 40% of all tickets sold this time have been to footy fans, either interstate or overseas, from the US and UK to Hong Kong and Singapore. Many hotels will be at capacity. Elder Park will once again be a footy festival hotspot, attracting up to 100,000 people. There'll also be a Gather Round live site in the mall, drawing more traffic to the city's premier shopping strip. Further afield, the Norwood Food and Wine Festival returns on Sunday to coincide with a fixture on the parade, and Mount Barker is getting ready for its close-up across the weekend.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. There is mixed injury news for Port Adelaide ahead of their Friday night blockbuster against Essendon at home, with Jason Horne-Francis set to return from a hamstring injury, but Ollie Wines will miss because of the same issue. And the Crows have another player set to miss tomorrow night's blockbuster against Melbourne, with small forward Lockie Murphy ruled out with a knee injury, which is set to keep him on the sidelines for up to 5 weeks. He joins Wayne Miller, who is also out. Still on footy, and the AFL concedes the umpires missed several free kicks for high contact on Hawk Jack Ginnivan. That was during the Easter Monday match against Geelong. AFL legend Lee Matthews says the head isn't being treated as sacrosanct when it comes to ball winners.
There's no doubt Jack Ginnivan is the receipt and the victim of personality umpiring. Heath Fettigan would have to have his head torn off to get a free kick. When you pick the ball up, you've automatically got to stand up. How stupid is that? When you're down over the ball, you tend to stay down.
Australia has defeated Bangladesh by 58 runs in their second women's T20 match. Meantime, in the Indian Premier League, Glenn Maxwell took 2 wickets for his Royal Challengers, including that of Marcus Stoinis, but it was Stoinis' Lucknow Supergiants who won by 28 runs. To soccer, late drama in the English Premier League match this morning between Newcastle and Everton, with a penalty for the Toffees helping them to a 1-1 draw. Dominic Calvert-Lewin breaking a 23-game goal-scoring drought.
All kinds of pressure, but he scores! It's 1 each!
Audio there thanks to Optus. Nottingham Forest moved 3 points clear of the relegation zone following a crucial 3-1 win at home to Fulham, while Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham are currently locked at 1-1 against West Ham with about half hour to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there at Darlington. Got roads closed due to works. That's on the Southern Expressway just to the Marion Road entry heading outbound. Paradise bit slow for works too. Lower North East Road near Church Road, and got activity at Kidman Park this morning, which is slowing things up. Findon Road near Dillon Avenue. You'll find early morning cameras, Lyons Road, Durnan Court and Marion Road at Glynn. School's now out and adventures are in at Discovery Parks, with year-round experiences for the whole family. Getting quick to secure your holiday booking at Discovery Parks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA Gather Round Week forecast.
There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
21 with a shower or two today. Tomorrow partly cloudy, 22. Friday sunny, 24. Saturday sunny, 25. Sunday partly cloudy, 24. Right now in Adelaide it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Steve from Walco Liners and Covers at Paraka. We're a manufacturing business. We've had a massive impact on the recall of our brand. From AA, we always vet the phone calls coming in and have asked where they're being sourced, and AA is a very strong part of what we get on the phone. We've had people who love the ads. We've also had people that hate the ads because of their irreverence and annoying nature, and have still said, look, your ad annoys me and I'm coming here under duress, but I'm still going to buy your product. So it's cut through. It definitely has worked. But yeah, it's since we started in 16, we've exploded locally.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Yesterday was your last day.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 7. That was a lot of fun a moment ago. Rick from Westlakes became the first time logged in our VIP experience for Gather Round.
Rick's the exemplar. He nailed it.
He nailed the McDonald's free coat phrase from the early 1980s. There'll be another chance coming up this hour. And also, Lucy's quiz is not too far away either. That's the 4-day pass for Gather Round. Another one of those will be given away this hour on 5AA Breakfast. In addition to our chat with David Koch after 7:30. And indeed, we'll check in with Jade Rodman as well very shortly. But first, let's jump into the news headlines of this hour on the Wednesday, 3rd of April. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described the attack by the Israeli military on the world's central kitchen team, which killed 7 aid workers, including one Australian, as tragic but unintentional. Here he is, being translated live by CNN.
Unfortunately, in the last day, there was a tragic incident where our forces unintentionally struck innocent people in the Gaza Strip. It happens in war, and we are thoroughly investigating it. We are in contact with the governments, and we'll do everything to prevent such occurrences in the future.
The World Central Kitchen team was travelling at night in a clearly marked convoy of 3 cars on a coastal road in central Gaza. The organisation has said the group had left a warehouse after unloading 100 tonnes of humanitarian aid, and that its movements had been coordinated with the Israeli military precisely to prevent something like what happened being hit by a deliberate strike from the Israeli military. Deliberate in that they were intending to hit the vehicles. 3 vehicles were hit separately. This was not some ordnance that exploded or a bomb that went off course.
No, they went bang, 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 took them out. And you should see the footage. There are giant circular holes in the roof of the car, smack bang in the middle of the logo of this charity. And Netanyahu, there's a certain ambivalence to that man, isn't there? Saying, like, it happened.
These things happen in war.
These things happen. Whoops-a-daisy, crikey.
The Israeli Defence Minister said there'll be a professional investigation team to try to get to the bottom of what happened. Here's our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese.
Well, we are awaiting further details to occur. We have, of course, contacted and spoken with the Israeli government, and we expect full accountability for this tragedy.
This is an interesting local story that we had on 7 News last night. Major supermarket chain Drake's will be using GPS technology to track high-end meat after they say they lost, this figure is staggering, $10 million to shoplifters in the past 12 months. $10 million.
John Paul Drake said the most common category of items stolen is meat as well.
It is,
because it's clearly these days it's up there with the most expensive thing you can buy at a supermarket. Probably also the most stealable too.
So what they've got are these plastic boxes. They cost $30 each, with a GPS tracker in them, and they're putting things like Wagyu beef, for example, will be put in these plastic containers that then will be, you have to take up the front. When you pay for it, they'll get the the meat will get taken out. Have a listen to John Paul Drake on 7 News last night.
Here is a first for supermarkets in Australia. Meat theft is the number one thing that is stolen from our supermarkets. If someone leaves the store without it being detached, then that'll set off the GPS. The minority is becoming more brazen in the ways they've been taking products from the stores. If someone's going to steal something, they're going to steal it, and we need to make sure it's as hard as possible.
It's a big outlay, $30, and that contains one bit of meat. So they're trialling this in 2 stores. It might be rolled out elsewhere. There's an epidemic of shop theft at the moment right around Australia. Coles talked about doing a version of this, not with GPS, but basically having the sort of locked container that you'll get when you go buy things like...
pair of jeans or something.
That's right. Yeah, some clothing. They've got the little detection clicker on there.
So the shop assistants, when you get to the checkout guys, the checkout chicks or whoever, they'll have to unlock it, and that way you get your steak or your lamb chops to take it home. It's just an extraordinary decision, but the cost of buying those $30 boxes shows how enormous the impact of the theft is. It's crazy.
So 2 stores, when you see them, if it's a store near you, we'd love to hear people give us a review of how that's all working and whether it's an inconvenience or you sort of think, well, it's something that it's a necessity brought about by the circumstance. 8223 is our number. You can text us on the Duttons text line. You might like to use those avenues to comment on this, which I imagine may be something, if we put to a jury trial, would get unanimous support. Badly behaving MPs could have their pay docked by up to 5% if a new body, this body called the Independent Parliamentary Standards Commission, is created as recommended by a report that's now been leaked out.
I love this idea.
So Katie Gallagher's the finance minister. It sounds like everyone's on board this across the spectrum in politics. They've all been a party to this on a parliamentary committee. The commission would have the power to educate offending politicians on issues, impose a fine of up to 5% of their annual salary, and recommend the misbehaving MP be discharged from any parliamentary committee.
But define misbehaving. How do they work it out? Is it if the Speaker has kicked him out during question time for interjecting too much?
That's a great question.
If they've been named for unparliamentary language? What would have happened if Paul Keating was Prime Minister? You know, you think back to some of the all-time great Keating's
This wouldn't have gotten up.
What about when poor old Downer was opposition leader? And there was that time when Keating looked over from the dispatch box and he goes, "That's right, Curly." He kept calling him Curly.
Yeah.
It was just sensational.
This is the Finance Minister.
It's all about raising the culture and improving the culture of this place. I'm working across the Parliament to make sure that we get this landed.
They could slap staffers with a 2% fine as well. So it's not just what happens within the chambers. People could be reassigned, you could be retrained, and so forth. The committee or the commission, don't get too excited. It's meant to come into action a number of times. It's been delayed. October this year would be the soonest we see something like this in place. But does anyone dissent? I mean, what would be the dissenting view on this? That it would stifle some of the great zingers of
unfettered debate. Yeah, well, bringing staffers into the milieu as well might not be a bad idea. I think when you read some of the extraordinary revelations around old Bruce Lamon, my God, like there's just, it seems to be people get to Canberra and act like they're on some, you know, end of season footy away trip. Like normal rules of human interaction and respect don't seem to apply in that weird town. It's not the town's fault. It's the nature of its chief industry, i.e. government and opposition. It's just a cesspit on a bad day.
Well, because it's fly in, fly out. It feels like it's a byproduct of the weird, you now leave the rest of the country to go and govern it.
Yeah.
Just psychologically, I think that's a weird thing that happens every few weeks when everyone flies in.
But there's a certain sort of mindset where people seem to get heady on the power of it all and think that they're, you know, part of the West Wing or something like that.
There's a bit of that going on for sure. We'll get to some of your texts shortly on the Duttons text line. The Duttons April Adventure Bonus, up to $2,000 free genuine accessories. Duttons, easy to do business with. That's not too far away. But let's check traffic for... in fact, no, before we check traffic, let's go to Russell in Blakeview, who's just snuck on the line. Morning to you, Russell.
Good morning, gents. How are we?
Good,
thanks, Russell.
Hey, just a question on the fines or proposed fines. What about repeat offenders? Does the fine increase, or do they get further suspensions, or do they get put out when there's crucial votes on to penalise the party?
5's the maximum,
question.
so it's up to 5, Russell. So, if you're thinking of, you can get up to 10 years for certain offences. 5 is the the most serious. Yeah, so no one's going broke because of bad behaviour here.
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really. I mean, they get paid well, so 5% is fine. But if it's the same person all the time, maybe it should be a bit more. Where,
yeah, I agree.
As I said, if there's a crucial vote, you're out. You don't vote.
Well, if you end up being like the parliamentary equivalent of Barry Hall, the fine should be tougher based on past performance. But that should be the model. It should be like the AFL, where 1 week you have Parliament sitting. If you're a real nerd, you can watch.
Well, you get 1 week.
You can watch Question Time, during the day on the TV. But then the following Tuesday night they have the tribunal. And if you could have such an egregious act of unparliamentary conduct, you get sent straight to the tribunal.
Could be out for 4 sitting days.
That's right.
That's a great idea. Well, do you know, two Russell's queries, some of that is right. Not the financial penalty that Russell would like to see, but you can be, according to the leaked documents, the leaked report, suspended from Parliament. So if you're suspended from Parliament, you can't participate in a vote, as I understand it. And also, this one would have a big financial penalty. Discharged from any parliamentary committee. Parliamentary committees are the secret make-good in politics. You get on a committee, you make a bit of extra money.
20 grand more or something
you
like that.
You get extra money going on committee, so you buy off your political enemies, you put people to committee. Like, none of it's based on merit and who'd be good on the committee. Sometimes it's people that are passionate about issues, but so often they're stacked with people who are doing so as you missed out on a ministry, but here you go, we'll put you on a couple of these committees and that'll boost your PARP and so forth.
Yeah.
So that being as a part of the penalty actually would be a significant sanction, but it's harder to quantify than the 5%. Good call, Russell. Thank you.
I think that was the same Russell who sent me a link to an EP of a band that's playing a show at the Cranker.
Russell's having a great morning.
Good on you, Russell.
3 votes, Russell.
Out. 3 votes.
All right, let's check traffic. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay sun smart. Download the Sun Smart app.
Morning there at Darlington Road's closed due to works. That's the Southern Expressway to the Marion Road entry. Got a few delays heading outbound at the moment. Lindock, multi-car smash on the Bross Valley Way. Delays in both directions. And slow for works at Paradise today. Low on Northeast Road near Church Road. Speeds at 25. Cameras, Bry Road, Felixstowe and Marion Road at Glynn. You know her music. Now discover her story. Marisa Abella stars as Amy Winehouse in Back to Black. Experience the life behind the lyrics. Only in cinemas April 11. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
You can buy milk or a lounge or a bed or a TV in Mount Barker or Victor Harbour or any of our regional areas on a public holiday, but you can't in Adelaide. It was almost time to break out the floral shirts and bell-bottom pants again because this Easter felt like 1976.
Matthew Pantelis.
Do we have the balance right? Well, I reckon not in a million gazillion light years.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
It's time to take a closer look at a Peugeot with drive-away offers on new SUVs. Like the Peugeot 3008 GT SUV from an alluring drive-away price. With an elevated driving position and the latest safety features, this mid-size SUV epitomises style and comfort. Take advantage of new SUVs available for prompt delivery while stocks last. T's and C's apply. Head to Peugeot.com.au or visit your local Peugeot dealer today.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of luxury menswear offer an impeccable range of men's attire for work, to celebrate and play. Global brands from E7, Replay, Hugo Boss and Karl Lagerfeld to Canali, Tremorosa Jeans, Emporio Armani and more, including shirts, footwear, jackets and denim. They have it all. If it's casual with style, you'll find it at Ignition for Men, 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. ignitionformen.com.au.
It's no surprise that Alfred James Funeral Homes is there for families in their time of need. They've been doing so for over 100 years. What may be surprising is the lengths they'll go to help you pay tribute to the life journey of your loved one. A song choice that's unconventional. A eulogy that's both heartwarming and hilarious. Oh, and launching their ashes into orbit on a SpaceX rocket. Pre-plan yours with us now. Alfred James Funeral Homes, honouring lives in extraordinary ways.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. To beat the summer heat, Yes can connect you with a new air conditioner thanks to the SA government initiative called REPS. Yes is offering eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $8.99. Yes, $8.99. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yess.net.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes after 7. David's going to be on the bench for just a few moments because he's currently tucking into a Big Mac. All thanks to Mac, as we've got the ultimate VIP experience for Gather Round's Port Essendon game on Friday night that we're putting people in the running to win. We've already got one who's managed to say the special phrase a little bit earlier in the program. Rick from Westlakes.
Tall beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That was
not Rick.
That was not Rick.
That was me giving the chipmunk treatment.
That was you. You don't have to be that quick. Rick was almost that quick, though. Rick was super fast. We will be giving someone else the opportunity to do the fastest rendition of the free cup of Coke saying from the early 80s from Macca's. A little bit later this hour. We are all over Gather Round 5AA this week. And it really starts from today. Rowie and Timmy G are going to be broadcasting from Glenelg Oval, where the Crows captain run is going to be taking place from 4 p.m. today. Then tomorrow, they're at the Adelaide Oval Concourse, so you can get along and see them there ahead of the Crows-Melbourne clash at the game with Rowie, Rennie and Campo on the call then. Then on Friday, we're doing the breakfast show from the Elder Park Festival of Footy, followed by Rowie from Nord Oval and Adelaide Oval, and with Timmy G, of course, from 4 p.m. And then Brisbane North, we're going to be calling the second half from Nord Oval, straight into Port Essendon at Adelaide Oval from 7:20. So you're going to hear 5AA all over town, all over Gather Round this week and heading into the weekend.
There's a big glossy lift out in today's Tizer of all the activities for Gather Round this weekend, including a handy map of the Elder Park site, which has got food and bar and AFL Superstore, main stage where they're going to have bands, and that's where we're going to be Friday.
That's where we're going to be Friday.
I'm going to take that with me.
Now,
so
if you hear all that and you go, oh, that's great, I don't care because I'm not going, I couldn't get tickets, well, let's remedy that for at least one of our listeners. Lucy's in the studio. Thanks to the, and you can see her on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream with her quiz for the hour to give away, Luce, the 4-day pass.
8223 if you'd like to play the quiz in a moment. I've gone for, there is at least one footy themed question in this little lot of 3 questions, so jump on, and if you get it wrong, the question that you got wrong immediately goes to the next person. So have a crack. The 3 questions, not too bad. The last question I'm quite proud of as a forewarning.
Okay.
I don't often talk up my quiz questions, but the third one is right up there. Let's get into it, shall we? We've got Donald in Woodside on the line. Hi, Donald. How are you feeling for the quiz?
Yeah, so far so good, I think.
Excellent. Well, these are for the...
You haven't got any wrong yet, Donald.
Double pass for all 4 days at Adelaide Oval. Here, Donald, here is your first one. When was former Premier Jay Weatherill in office?
Or...
We're going to name the whole range?
No, just the years. Start and end years.
Oh, I'm going to have a start maybe 2012 to 2018.
Oh, you're really close, but no.
Oh,
sorry,
that's
Donald.
rough. But he took over mid-term from Ran.
That's why I'm not asking for months. Just.
Oh, how generous of you.
Hours.
Yeah.
All right, next.
It was
come
3
on.
p.m.
Tony, when was Jay Weatherill in to the minute?
Tony Woodcroft, do you reckon you know the years Jay Weatherill was in office?
2011 to 2018.
Very good. Thank you, Tony.
Wow.
For those
That's
who want to know, it was October 2011 to March 2018. All right, Tony, who did Sandford great Ralph Zip Zap Zua play for? Which club?
Which clubs?
Oh, who was that, sorry?
Ralph Sewer.
Yeah.
Not sure?
No, I don't think so, Tony.
No,
Sorry,
bad luck,
mate.
Tony. Bev on Yorks, did you hear that question? Ralph Sewer, a Sandford great. Who did he play for?
Woodville, West Torrens.
Correct. I would have accepted Glenelg. He played for two clubs, Woodville or Glenelg. Very good, Bev. Now, the final question, being on Yorks, I don't know if you'll know this, Bev, because it is quite CBD based, but the Adelaide CBD is surrounded entirely by parklands that are numbered. For example, Rymill Park is known as Park 14. What number do our parklands go up to?
A million?
No, I'll give you a hint. It doesn't go above 32. I'm not saying that's the highest, but it doesn't go above 32.
Okay.
28.
I think you've won it, Bev.
Is that?
I'm going to give that to Bev.
Okay.
I'm going to give that
What's happened, Luce? You just started cackling strangely. I don't know. Did she get it right?
to Bev. So it goes 27A.
Okay.
Which I'm going to count.
All right.
You know, I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty
27A.
good guess.
Well, that is 28 parks, isn't it? Because
Well,
A is a separate park. It's
From
out-
being on Yorks, I think that's a pretty good guess. Congratulations, Bev. You're
Bev.
off to Gather Round. And just quickly, as I glance out the window, if you've got a photo of the sunrise, totally off topic, we'd love to see it this morning. It's a cracking sunrise over Hindmarsh Square.
We've got another edition of Lucy's Hard Quiz that we're going to be playing after 8 o'clock today to give away a 4-day pass to Gather Round.
I can't believe anyone got that Jay Weatherall question right.
Well,
I was sitting here thinking I couldn't work it out. And as for the parkland, my God.
Lucy will be asking you, how many seconds was Thomas Playford the Premier for? That's coming up after 8 o'clock this morning.
Was it 27 years? Was it 27 years he was Premier?
Something like that.
That's a lot of seconds.
It's a lot of seconds. All right, let's talk sport. Much simpler. The sports show tonight, make sure you stick around for it. As we said, is going to be broadcasting live from Glenelg Oval. Winter is coming. Save money and get a great Walco Guardian pool cover. Visit walco.com.au. Last night, Darcy Fogarty was on the program, and Rowie got asking Darcy if the Crows' pre-season expectations were getting the better of them.
Has expectation got you as a group a bit, do you think?
I don't think so. I think we sort of, expectations are privilege, really, isn't it? But maybe we have fallen into being the hunter instead of the hunter mindset that we've had the last couple of years. We spoke about that during the week and how we can definitely try and get that mindset back. And I don't think there's too many boys being hunted at zip and three. So we've definitely got that mindset going into this week where we're really going to get at Melbourne and really attack them and try and throw the first punch, I guess, and hold that throughout the game. So that's a massive mindset change for us this week is really going to attack them and attack the ball and hunt them.
All will be revealed. It feels bizarre, doesn't it? The sort of truncated week tomorrow night. Crows playing tomorrow night.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
The Easter into Gather Round feels like the footy never stops.
I know.
Which is, frankly, excellent. 5AA News is coming up. Koshi on the other side of it.
There's mega deals on this week at your local IGA. Like Pepsi, Solo or Schweppes Infused Natural Water 10-pack cans, selected varieties, $9 each, half price. Specials across the store right now, only at IGA. Offer ends April 9. Participating stores only. Excludes Foodland.
If you're outgrowing your home, it could be time to select a granny flat. At Selector Homes, we've been building transportable granny flats for over 25 years. And now, we can build them on a slab, which means your whole home and new granny flat are on the same level. No stairs and seamless living. Also, we can build to the perimeter of your block, saving you space. Fixed price, no hidden costs. Walk through the Haven Granny Flat at the Selector Homes Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton.
What makes Ray White the big name in business broking? They're people, like multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year, Brett Buckley, and his team of business professionals. They take a deep dive into your business, finding value and potential, and they know what they're looking for, because they know businesses. They're not real estate salespeople trying to sell businesses, they're business people selling businesses. If you want to know what your business is worth, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Multiple Business Broker of the Year awards.
Thousands upon thousands of sheds, trailers, retaining walls, fences, DIY jobs and commercial projects. Over the last 40 years, Southern Steel Supplies has been there, supporting big industry and the little guy, with a list of jobs as long as your arm. When it comes to steel, there's nothing we can't help you with. Any size, any shape, any length. Delivered to just about anywhere in SA. SouthernSteelSupplies.com.au, the South Australian Steel Company.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A shower at 2:21 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
A man's blown almost 7 times over the limit at Gillis Plains. Senior Constable Matt Brown says he crashed into a parked car on North East Road.
The driver appeared heavily intoxicated when he got out of his silver Mazda hatch. Witnesses took the car keys from the man and waited with him until police arrived. Now, the driver, a 38-year-old man from Windsor Gardens, underwent a breath test and returned a positive reading of .336.
He's lost his licence for 12 months and his car's been impounded. People are sending their credit card limits through the roof to keep their heads above water. Credit card spending has skyrocketed to $35.5 billion, a sharp increase on the previous 5 years. According to Finders, 1 in 5 Australians with a credit card have changed their limit in the past 12 months to help them cope with spiralling costs. The Foreign Minister has spoken with her Israeli counterpart to express Australia's outrage at the death of aid worker Zomi Frankham. Israel has confirmed it struck 3 vehicles travelling through Gaza, killing the Australian and 6 others. The IDF claims it unintentionally hit the marked aid cars. Penny Wong has told Today a thorough investigation is needed.
I made clear to the Foreign Minister of Israel that Australians are outraged by Zomi's death. I made clear that we believe the death of any aid worker is unacceptable and frankly outrageous.
The founding president of the World Anti-Doping Agency has likened the AFL's drug testing regime to state-run programs allowing athletes to cheat in East Germany. Dick Pound says players being able to self-report to avoid testing on game day completely undoes the rationale of clean athletes. He's told the Herald Sun there's similarities to the 1976 Montreal Games when East German and Russian athletes were tested the day before competition. Another flu vaccine is now available for free to eligible vulnerable Australians. Flucelvax is developed in mammalian cells rather than chicken eggs, meaning it can adapt to match the virus strains most likely to be prevalent this flu season. Infectious disease expert Professor Robert Boy says that gives it a major advantage.
Flucelvax is grown in mammalian cells. That means in the cells of a dog. And the virus that makes the vaccine doesn't mutate when it's grown in mammalian cells, because that's like human cells.
The countdown continues to gather round 2.0. The footy festival is tipped to be worth even more to the state financially this time around. SA pocketed $83 million in 2023. Local restaurants, bars and hotels are gearing up for a bumper 4 days. And Balfour's has teamed up with Pepperjack Wines to launch the Gather Pie. Around 8,000 are expected to be sold at Adelaide Oval across the 5 games at the iconic venue. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Tom Rennie, you're lining up for a pepper pie?
Oh, who doesn't love a pie during the footy, especially when it starts to get a bit cooler at night.
Stop it, I'm hungry.
One tomorrow night, yeah, exactly right. We'll have one together tomorrow night, Graham. I'm looking forward to it. Let's start with footy. Adelaide forward Darcy Fogarty admits he's frustrated and wants to hit the scoreboard more often as the Crows look to break their duck and kickstart their season with a win against Melbourne tomorrow night. Fogarty has kicked 2 goals for from the opening 3 games, and he's told Rowie and Timmy G he needs to get more looks and finish off his work a little better.
I'm just sort of, a little bit frustrated in front of goal at the moment. Not really converting like I normally do, but hopefully continue to get looks and, I'll put a bit more onus on myself to finish me goals and have more of an impact on the scoreboard that way.
The Crows and Demons will release their sides ahead of the Gather Round opener a little later this afternoon. Meantime, Richmond forward Liam Baker will miss Sunday's clash against St Kilda after his one-match ban for rough conduct was upheld. The AFL Tribunal finding Baker's attempt to spoil was unrealistic and there was real potential to cause injury to Sydney's Lewis Melican. Let's go to soccer. Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham is still locked at 1-1 against West Ham. There's now only a few minutes to play in stoppage time. That's in their EPL clash, while it's full time in other matches this morning. Bournemouth beating Crystal Palace 1-0. Nottingham Forest had a 3-1 win against Fulham. Burnley and Wolverhampton played out a 1-1 draw, while Newcastle and Everton also shared the points in a 1-1 draw. And organisers will make a call just after 9 o'clock as to whether finals day will run today at the Bells Beach Surf Pro. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there at Darlington Road's closed due to works. That's the Summit Expressway just in the Marion Road entry as you're heading outbound. So got a few delays there. Lindock, multi-car smash in the Ross Valley Way. Delays in both directions. And slow for works at Paradise this morning. Lower North East Road near Church Road, speeds at 25. You'll find cameras Green Junction Road, Hope Valley and Marion Road at Glen. This April, Bob Jane T-Marts have great buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cashback deals. With 15 stores located in Adelaide, they'll look after you. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
A shower of 2 and 21 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy 22. Friday, sunny 24. Saturday, sunny 25. Sunday, partly cloudy 24. Right now in Adelaide, it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 8. David Koch not too far away. A little bit later in the morning, Josh Rochelli's going to join us. But first, let's head out on the road and catch up with Jade Robran. Morning again, Jade.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, listeners. We've heard this morning about that driver who was caught 7 times over the limit, blowing .336. Now, he's not the only moron on our streets who's been caught in the past 24 hours. I'm here at A Fonzie Pizza Bar. It's on Springbank Road at Torrens Park, where a blue Subaru driven by a 27-year-old slammed into the shop front around 1 p.m. yesterday. Now, the whole shop front has been damaged. It's been boarded up at the moment. Now, a couple of plants are the casualty, but look, thank goodness no one was injured. They've got some traffic lights on the corner here. I can only think that speed and stupidity, of course, played a huge role in this. They've come around the corner and straight into the shop front. I'm looking through the front window now, and thank goodness the shop is intact. So it's just this brick wall, and again, no one was inside and got injured. But the driver returned a positive drug test and was reported for dangerous driving without due care. Now, the cops immediately seized his licence for 3 months, but it wasn't the only instance of drug drivers causing damage yesterday. A 24-year-old driver smashed into a bus shelter in North Adelaide on Melbourne Street just after 1 p.m. yesterday also. The woman also returned a positive drug test. Now, she completely took out the bus shelter. Again, thank goodness that nobody was there at the time. So on both counts, no one was injured. But I tell you what, these stories, they're so scary, aren't they? Because you can wake up in the morning, get in the car and do all the right things, but you can't control the idiots that get behind the wheel, either full of drugs or alcohol.
Just looking at that image that Jade's taken on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Like, I don't give drug-using drivers the benefit of the doubt to think they do it late at night when there's fewer people around to minimise damage. That's a fluke that it happened at a time when there wasn't people sitting in that restaurant that could have been killed. Would have been killed, looking at that.
Brian Hash is the owner. He's a 35-year-old bloke trying to run a small business. So now he's got all this cleaning up to do. Important to stress that he said this yesterday. We want all our customers to know that we'll be back better and stronger than ever, and we're very thankful for all the support we've received. But what's this guy's day look like today as a result of this? You know, I don't know if he's opening. If you are, Brian, and if you are listening and you are going to be flipping some pizzas tonight, let us know, because we'll urge everybody to get in there and tuck in. But just a massive inconvenience. But you're right, it's at the lower end of the scale, because it could so easily, we could be sitting here talking about, I mean, the hair salon next door. I mean, if it had gone into the hair salon, which was open and had people in it, and they were the people out of the goodness of their heart went and got this drugged up half-wit out of his car, because he's trapped in his car. I mean, it's scary for the people who are in there getting a haircut. But it's actually, it is at the point, I think, where as a law-abiding motorist, it makes you think twice. Like, I do a bit of night driving because of my son's part-time job, and he hasn't got his licence yet, so I go and pick him up at night. And he's on his L's. And we were talking the other night about, even when you're sitting there at night on the corner of, say, Anzac Highway and Morfett Road. So you're sitting there at a red light near Macca's, near the racecourse. You're waiting for the lights to change green. I reckon these days you almost treat an intersection like that like a giveaway situation where you think, I know the light's green, but before I pull out, should I just look to see if anyone's coming? Because there's just so many of these morons out there. And again, a wholly unscientific, but I think reliable and indicative sense of what happens to them is you watch the program RBT and you see what happens. You know, normally within 3 months, these people are back on the roads, sometimes less. You know, why don't we take it? Why don't we take it more seriously? What's going to happen to this guy? I mean,
we all know.
Well, he didn't kill anyone.
No,
that'll be the chief sort of line of argument with the defence counsel. You know, no one died. You know, but we know from bitter experience that even when people do die in this town, you won't go to jail. It's a complete farce.
Yep. Yeah, and then
it's the same as shooting a gun in the Rundle Mall and saying, "Oh, well, you know, I didn't think anyone was going to get hurt."
The whole thing demonstrates a failure of law. But you know, what intent to hurt was there? What difficult time was he going through that led him to the drugs? Like the people that are always marginalised the most are victims and potential victims. So, well, you know, no thought given to explaining what becomes of their lives or a business life. The whole thing's just an absolute farce. It's just it's fatiguing talking about it constantly, frankly.
Yeah, it is.
Let's have a look at the text line. Dutton's April Adventure Bonus up to $2,000 free genuine accessories. Dutton's easy to do business with.
Kevin wants to know if pollies do get fined for bad behaviour, will they be able to claim it as a tax deduction? Good point. Another one here saying, from Russell. No, it was a different Russell who texted me about the upcoming gig at the Crown and Anchor. Thanks for that, Russell. Scott from Aubrey says, morning, boys. Politicians being fined by up to 5%. Wow, maybe if they weren't being paid 65% more than they're worth, it might actually be something. One here, Kaz in Brompton, who we caught up with at the Central Market last Friday. Thanks again for coming in, Kaz. Kaz says, my question regarding bad pollies is what happens with the money saved or retained? Does it go towards training courses for politeness? And Ben says, 5% pay cut, what about you just sack them, which is what would happen in the real world? That's true. I mean, if you were running around the office screaming abuse at people, I think after doing that more than twice, HR would just rock up and say, well, we've got a little exit folder here for you, and we want to wish you luck in your new endeavours at any workplace other than this one.
That is not a silly text at all, because running concurrently with this leaked report about the Professional Standards Commission is this idea of enshrining in law some basic standards of conduct, that things that will blow your mind don't lead to instant dismissal in politics, or you can't get fired for, like drunkenness in the workplace, or even more serious things that involve assault style wrongdoings, things that for the last 20 years have got you fired in workplaces everywhere else except in Parliament House. They're talking about enshrining in law right now in Canberra. It is mind-boggling the degree which that joint has not kept up with the rest of the country.
And there can be no logical argument as to why those protections exist.
I think it's based purely on this idea that these people have been elected. They're elected members, and there's a purity to the democratic process that means you can't summarily dismiss them for a manner of other. I mean, I think it's stupid, frankly, but I think that's what it goes back to.
See, the thing is, it's actually not doing any favours to the good politicians who never put a foot wrong and try to hire good people, because it just ends up looking like this sort of collective besmirching of the entire profession.
All right, let's take a break. We'll check traffic first. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will. At Darlington, roadworks have speeds reduced on the Southern Expressway to the Marion Road entry, delays outbound. At Lindock, multi-car smash on the Barossa Valley Way, delays in both directions there. Works at Cowandilla, slowing things up. Marion Road next to Donald Bradford Drive, speeds at 40 k's. And we've got cameras this morning. Lines Road, Turnant Courts, and Marion Road at Glim. Hungry? Head to El Porto for the new Bondi Strip Box, a Bondi burger, chips, 2 crispy chicken strips, and a drink for just $15.95. Limited time only, and only at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options, Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. To beat the summer heat, Yes can connect you with a new air conditioner thanks to the SA government initiative called REPS. Yes is offering eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $8.99. Yes, $8.99. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yess.net.au.
Now, Gather Round is the perfect time to gather your mates and gather around some incredible local Prohibition gin.
Now, if you've got some friends coming to town, what a great opportunity to show off the spirit of South Australia. Plus, Prohibition gin is right here in the heart of Adelaide on Gilbert Street.
I went to a 40th there. It was absolutely sensational. Responsible for some of the best gin cocktails in Adelaide, the Prohibition Gin Tasting Room offers the perfect chance to sample the entire Prohibition range, including limited and seasonal releases.
Drop in for a gin flight, cocktails and great food Wednesday through Sunday. Plus, you can flash your game ticket at the bar and get 10% off your total bill.
It's time to show off our great state's great gin. Make it part of your gather round experience at Prohibition Gin, 22 Gilbert Street, City, just 4 tram stops from Adelaide Oval. Drink responsibly.
Struggling with your CPAP therapy? Try the world's first auto-fitting mask from Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. Respirico Healthcare is offering the Fisher & Paykel Sleep Style device for 30% off, plus a free solo mask valued at $310. Visit one of 6 Respirico clinics and mention this ad to redeem this offer. Respirico Healthcare, proudly serving South Australia for 20 years. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low-maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
12 minutes to 8. Apologies to those people trying to call us at the moment. Unfortunately, one of the fundamental planks of Talkback Radio has failed us at the moment. The phones aren't working.
Are they overloaded by people trying to enter the competition?
I think that's what it is. Once the Victorian callers all started trying to get on
Yeah,
board,
that's right.
I think
in fact, the entire country's ringing the 5AA Breakfast
6
show.
million Victorians weren't meant to be calling to try and win tickets to Gather Round. I think it's
Are
overwhelmed the
3AW on
system.
holidays too?
They are on holidays at the moment. Well, yeah, absolutely. So we will we'll try and get to the bottom of that. But if you are trying to call us and we're not picking up, it's not rudeness on our part. It's
No.
simply a technological fault. So for that, we apologise. That said, through the magic of alternative technologies of the internet, we have been able to get in touch with David Koch.
Coming through loud and clear.
You can hear it. Oh, good. That's great. Having all sorts of fun here this morning. We're going to be having a lot of fun with Gather Round. I want to talk to you about that in just a moment, but we thought we'd start with something different because we often talk money with you and interest rates and so forth. One thing we haven't spoken at great length about, though, is the cost of housing. A report from PropTrack came out earlier in the week about Adelaide specifically, and the numbers defy what we traditionally have thought would happen during a period of sustained rate rises. Adelaide properties went up, the median property price went up 13.47% over the past 12 months. The past 12 months, Koshi, during a cost of living crisis. What is going on?
Okay, what's going on is simply demand and supply. In Australia, we need to build 250,000 new homes every year just to keep the market imbalance. Property values are determined just simply by demand and supply. Number of buyers versus the number of sellers. And at the moment, there's not enough stock. Over the last 12 months, we've built 175,000 new homes. Now, remember, I just said we've got to build 250 just to keep it in balance. So well short. In the next 12 months, only 160,000 have been approved. And so we're just getting further and further behind in the amount of new stock that needs to come on. Combine that, so supply short, demand is being boosted by 500,000 new migrants, and figures out yesterday showed there are 700,000 international students in Australia, a record number. So they're wanting places to rent. So you've got this perfect storm of nothing being built or very little being built, and big demand coming from population growth through migration and international students. And of course the governments blame the greedy landlords. Well, governments, pull your finger out and plan for this and work together with state governments and local councils to release more land and make it easier for new properties to be built and bring on more supply. As simple as that.
Koshy, just in terms of people getting into the market, particularly younger people like my kids, and probably also yours, and soon I guess your grandkids when they've grown up a bit more. For the life of me, did you see that report the other day showing how much money you need in different cities to buy an average home now? In Sydney, the salary you need, from memory, I think it was $270,000 a year.
Yep, but don't think Adelaide's that far behind. In December, the median house of a price in Brisbane overtook Melbourne as the second most expensive city in Australia.
Wow.
And this week, the new CoreLogic figures came out and showed Adelaide, I think, is only 30 or 40,000 below Melbourne. So at this rate, Melbourne is stagnating, and Adelaide has got, and Perth are the real speedsters in terms of increases in property prices at the moment. Adelaide is fast approaching overtaking Melbourne this year if the increase in property values continues at this rate, overtaking Melbourne by the end of the year to be the third highest median value of residential property in Australia.
Because from memory, the Adelaide salary you need to buy an average house here is still something like $160,000, $170,000, and that is so high above the average wage.
See, I saw that report. The only thing that was a little bit misleading about that, I thought, was one, these days there'll be two salaries.
Yes,
well, that's generally, and most people aren't necessarily as first timers buying a median house.
Yeah, that's right.
But
it was still indicative of the crisis.
It's still a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the growth in houses. The other weird thing that's happened is the growth in value of houses has far outstripped home units. Now, I would have thought home units would have caught up because they're generally cheaper and a lower entry price. But demand for houses has been so intense that the gap between the two has actually widened.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at my own suburb, Wayville, the other day, and the average house price now in Wayville is over, I think it's about 1.7 million or 1.5 million.
What?
But the average apartment in Wayville was about 500 or even less, 470,000 or something like that.
That's amazing.
Which makes your point really well, Koshy. Hey mate, we've all got gather round fever. When are you hitting town, mate?
I am just about to get into a car to fly to Adelaide and get in this afternoon. So through and till the Sunday. So I cannot wait. It's going to be true. I'll pop in for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, let's do it.
Chat to you in person, but it's so good. A reflection of how good last year was is that it took 9 days to sell the first 100,000 tickets to gather around last year. This year, the first 100,000 sold in 9 hours. So
that's it.
It has spread like wildfire about this event that Adelaide has put on, and everyone loves it. The amount of clubs that are bringing their corporates, their big corporate backers in for the weekend is huge. They're having conferences in Adelaide, the whole lot. So, they're going to see the best of Adelaide, and hopefully that becomes a future boost to the economy as well of South Australia.
Do you think, Koshy, we spoke to Eddie Maguire a few weeks ago about Gather Round, and obviously they had the big Channel 9 hootenanny at the Entertainment Centre last night, which was a great night. Do you reckon there's an argument, rather than making it this sort of once every 4-year bidding war between the states, and frankly, I lived in Sydney long enough to know that if you get the Brisbane Lions to play the Fremantle Dockers at Campbelltown Stadium, you'd be lucky to get 2,000 people at the game. Should we hold it in Adelaide forever?
Let me tell you that is the view within the AFL at the moment. They are over the moon of how successful it is. For the northern states, for New South Wales and Queensland, they now have round 0. So they showcase AFL in a round on its own in the northern states, which I reckon is a great idea and has been a massive boost for those Queensland and New South Wales-based teams to get a leg up, to shine a light on them in Rugby League Heartland. So Gather Round, I think, is firmly ensconced in South Australia for the foreseeable future. That's the view generally within the AFL industry, and that's great credit to South Australian tourism and the Premier's department, because they just put on a great event.
Hey, Koshy, I know you'd never blame the umpires for anything, but were you tempted to at all in the fourth quarter of the game on Sunday?
Put it this way, I checked my Apple Watch, and my heart rate was double my resting heart rate, so I was getting a little agitated. But big games are all about moments, and we didn't handle those moments as well as we should. There are half a dozen moments it's easy to blame the umpires, but we didn't help ourselves with our kicking accuracy and some fundamental mistakes at big moments. So we've got to rectify that on Friday night as after the Crows kick off Gather Round on Thursday night, and we're Friday night. It's going to be a big couple of days for the South Australian clubs.
Admirable restraint, Koshy. Well done. Admirable. Friday night, big game. We'll have you in town. That'll be terrific. Good on you, Koshy. Have a good week.
Cheers, guys. Let's catch up. See ya.
All right, it's a couple of minutes to 8. 5AA News is coming up, breaking at 8 a little bit after, and Josh Rochelli's going to join us from the Adelaide Football Club as well. Their game, of course, is tomorrow night, and you'll hear it here all on 5AA.
How awesome! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has plenty of Tiguans and Amaroks in stock. Tiguan Allspace is a 7-seater with plenty of room and plenty of smarts, featuring auto park, adaptive cruise control and lane assist. And the latest generation Amarok has a big 1-ton payload and 3.5-ton towing capacity. But inside, you'll get all the comforts of a luxury vehicle. There's plenty of stock that must go. Hurry in for a deal. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
There are electrical safety recalls on solar home batteries, branded LG, LG Chem, and inside some Solax products. Affected batteries may overheat and catch fire, resulting in injury, death or damage to property. Incidents have occurred and caused damage to property. Even if you have checked before, please check again by visiting lghomebattery.com.au or by calling 1300 677 273. That's 1300 677 273.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blowing up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Not all of us are lucky enough to call the hills home. We enjoy space, we seek change, we choose to discover what is on the road less travelled. And when you turn off the freeway to Bridgewater, you'll discover the home of Nissan in the Hills. Adelaide Hills Nissan has the full Nissan range right here, from the Qashqai to the Navara and everything in between. Take the road less travelled to Nissan's home in the hills. Adelaide Hills Nissan, since 1954. Mount Barker Road, Bridgewater, LMVD 325189.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Culture your cravings with Yom, the yogurt factory's new range. All local ingredients and no preservatives, gelatine, artificial colours or flavours. Available at selected Foodlands.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
A shower or two and 21 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Woodings.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
The Prime Minister is demanding answers from the Israeli government after an Australian aid worker was killed in Gaza. Somi Frankham was delivering food as part of the World Central Kitchen when she was killed alongside 6 others. The Israeli Prime Minister has admitted an IDF airstrike was responsible. Anthony Albanese has told the ABC it's completely unacceptable.
What we know is that the vehicle was hit, and we know as well that governments are responsible for actions that take place, and this is completely unacceptable. We await the details and we await a full explanation.
We've just had the second worst month of ramping at Adelaide hospitals. Emergency patients were kept waiting outside public hospitals for 4,095 hours in March. Health Minister Chris Picton has admitted the health system is under intense pressure, but says more beds are being added to the system. A drunk driver crashed into a parked car at Gillis Plains last night. Bystanders took his keys away after witnessing the accident on North East Road. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the 38-year-old Windsor Gardens man allegedly blew .336, almost 7 times the legal limit.
He was reported for driving under the influence of alcohol and aggravated driving without due care, so he was issued an immediate loss of licence notice for 12 months and his car was impounded for 28 days, so he will be summoned to appear in court at a later date. But police would like to thank members of the public who assisted in preventing the man from driving after the crash and causing any other incidents.
Meantime, a man's been arrested after a pursuit in the southern suburbs last night. The car's tyres were spiked before it eventually stopped at Christie Downs and the driver ran off. The 32-year-old was quickly arrested by patrols and charged with illegal use, driving dangerously, theft and driving unlicensed. He'll face court today. The Hyundai has been reported stolen from Glenelg just after 8 p.m. Gather round fever is building. Mel Usher says we'll welcome more visitors this year as the AFL calls Adelaide home for 4 days.
Gather Round Week is upon us, and the economic boost to South Australia this time around is expected to be well up on 2023. The inaugural event was worth around $83 million to the state, 2/3 of that coming from outside visitors. Nearly 40% of all tickets sold this time have been to footy fans, either interstate or overseas, from the US and UK to Hong Kong and Singapore. Many hotels will be at capacity. Elder Park will once again be a footy festival hotspot, attracting up to 100,000 people. There'll also be a Gather Round live site in the mall, drawing more traffic to the city's premier shopping strip. Further afield, the Norwood Food and Wine Festival returns on Sunday to coincide with a fixture on the parade, and Mount Barker is getting ready for its close-up across the weekend.
There'll be plenty of hip swivelling at Her Majesty's Theatre tonight. Elvis, a musical revolution, will be in Adelaide until the end of the month. Producer David Venn says it's a stage show for everyone.
There's obviously the fans that know Elvis and grew up with Elvis, but there is a whole new generation and even a whole heap of kids that have now been opened up to this world. And from our side, it's such a privilege and an exciting thing that we can help to keep his legacy alive.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. It's teams night for the Crows in Melbourne ahead of the Gather Round blockbuster opening tomorrow night at Adelaide Oval. The Crows forced to make 2 changes. Wayne Miller is sadly out for the season with a knee injury, while Lockie Murphy also has a knee injury set to sideline him for around a month. Meantime, Port Adelaide chairman David Koch has told David and Will he can't wait for Gather Round to start.
It's so good. A reflection of how good last year was is that it took 9 days to sell the first 100,000 tickets to Gather Round last year. This year, the first 100,000 sold in 9 hours. It has spread like wildfire about this event that Adelaide has put on.
Meantime, the Crows and Power are poised to further their case to have a reserve side compete in the VFL as the AFL World descends on SA for this weekend's gather round. Well, England Test captain Ben Stokes is asking selectors not to consider him for this year's T20 World Cup to focus on his fitness. Meantime, Marcus Stoinis has taken bragging rights with Aussie teammate Glenn Maxwell as Stoinis and his Lucknow Super Giants beat Maxwell's Royal Challengers by 28 runs in the IPL. Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham have played out a 1-1 away draw against West Ham, which leaves them in 5th place in the English Premier League. In other results this morning, Bournemouth beat Crystal Palace 1-0, Nottingham Forest took care of Fulham 3-1, while Burnley and Wolverhampton drew 1-1. The points also shared in a 1-1 draw between Newcastle and Everton. Aussie golfer Cameron Smith has hinted he may not return to the PGA Tour, even if a peace deal is brokered with Live Golf. He says he's not sure he wants to go back to spending so much time away from home. And the All Blacks' most capped player, Sam Whitelock, will retire from rugby at the end of the French season in June. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there. Got some really big delays inbound on the North-South motorway at Regency Park coming inbound at the moment. Also sluggish at Darlington. Roadworks there. Speeds reduced on the Southern Expressway near the Marion Road entry. And Glendock multi-car smash on the Barossa Valley Way. Delays in both directions. Early morning cameras, North East Road, Modbury and Marion Road at Glen. FBOS fees are great for banks, not businesses. Pay no fees or terminal rental with SmartPay. Visit smartpay.com.au. T's and C's and minimum turnover apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
A shower or two, 21 today. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 22. Friday, sunny, 24. Saturday, sunny, 25. Sunday, partly cloudy, 24. Right now, it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Ray White.
So let's try and put someone in the running to win the ultimate VIP experience for Gather Round at the Port Essendon game. This is the double pass, the zip line. You get to watch the teams warm up from within the boundary line. A money can't buy experience. There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Mac is official partners for the AFL Gather Round. The Big Mac has inspired the way in which you're in the running to win this too. Have a listen to David recite this.
Tall beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Got you a free cup of Coke in the early 80s. If you can say it now and you can say it the fastest and make it accurate and decipherable, then you will be the winner of that prize. Now, we're going to put 8 people in the running over the course of the next couple of days. We've already had one. Rick in Westlake set us off on a cracking pace. He absolutely nailed it a little bit earlier.
I reckon he beat me.
Let's go to Hackham because Paul is the first caller through. Paul, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, Paul. Have you done your vocal warm-up exercises? You've had a glass of water. Hey, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
What's your go-to Macca's, Paul? You'd be, there's one in Noarlunga, I reckon, Seaford. You've got a few down your way, Hackham?
Yeah, Noarlunga.
Yeah, Noarlunga.
All right, Paul, a reminder, speed is the aim here. If you can say it accurately, decipherably, and fastest, you get those tickets. Take it away, Paul.
2, a whole beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickle, onion, sesame seed bun.
Beautiful work. Beautiful work, Paul. I felt the clutch slipped a little at the start, but once he got into gear, Paul really fired through that. That was superb.
I'm guessing Paul's 53, 54 years old, because I reckon it's our age bracket. We are in the sweet spot, because this was hardwired into our brains as kids.
Paul, that was excellent. Now, Rick, earlier, we're not going to give away the times. We're going to do a reveal on Friday morning of the top 8. In terms of the quickest versions that we've heard. All we can tell you is this. Rick did it in under 4 seconds, which meant Rick would have got the free cup of Coke back in the day. So the bare minimum is going to be under 4 seconds, which is what the challenge McDonald set you. You're going to have to do it a fair bit quicker than that, though.
This is real Roger Bannister territory we're in here.
4 minute mile.
Yeah. This is.
Do you reckon under 3 seconds might be broken?
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean,
there could be a Hussein Bolt listening who's going to come on and just completely blitz it. But it's
Usain
going to
Bolt.
come down to 0.01, 0.001
tenths of seconds.
Second
is what we're talking
splits.
about.
This is nail
It's a lot of fun.
biting edge of the seat
I
stuff.
didn't think they'd all be good. I thought we'd have some shockers that would really lag through. But it's this is a Melbourne Cup field. All right, we might do one more before 9 o'clock this morning. But before we talk more about Gather Round, there's just some breaking news out of Canberra. The Prime Minister is, as we speak, has just finished speaking at a press conference at which he announced our 28th Governor-General to succeed David Hurley will be Samantha Mostyn. Sam Mostyn, who has been recognised previously for her exceptional service to the Australian community, a businesswoman, community leader, was appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia for distinguished service to business, the community and women. She's been a member of the Australian faculty of the Prince of Wales Business and Sustainability Program for 12 years. She's a big advocate for climate change, been on the executive, the AFL executive. Have a bit of a listen to the Prime Minister announcing our new Governor-General to take over from the 1st of July this year.
I'm very honoured to announce that His Majesty the King has approved my recommendation to appoint Ms Samantha Mostyn, AO, as Australia's next Governor-General. Ms Mostyn will be the 28th Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and the second woman to hold this highest of office. Sam Mostyn is an exceptional leader who represents the best of modern Australia. She has lived her life in the service of a powerful Australian principle. When more people have the opportunity to fulfil their potential, our nation is a better place. Australia will always be a stronger and more successful country when we draw on the skills and smarts of all of our citizens. This understanding has driven Sam's tireless advocacy for gender equality, particularly in the world of business, for women's safety and for reconciliation.
She's a really impressive woman, Sam. She was on the board of the Sydney Swans when they won the 2005 flag, their breakthrough premiership. And she's just really down to earth and grounded. And I think it's good. Like, you think about it, 28 Governors General, do you say? So of the 28, only 2 have been women. She will be the second. So far we've had one female Governor-General, Quentin Bryce, the Queenslander. I think Samantha's got some sort of Adelaide connection. I think it's through her AFL work. She might have been one of the first women, if not the first woman, to be an AFL commissioner as well.
Yeah, she was. She was.
Yeah.
She's been on a heap of boards, things like Transurban, Virgin Australia, the chair of Citibank Australia. She's big time in the business world.
And I think there's a symmetry between her and our governor here in South Australia, South Australia being the first state to have a female governor in Dame Roma Mitchell. But our governor, Frances Adamson, someone who, in her chosen field of diplomacy, reached the highest level in Australia as the Secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. I know that Her Excellency here is a huge champion of, seeing girls get ahead, more girls getting into STEM and doing roles that have traditionally been regarded as non-female. And, it's the way of the world. Anyone who looks at this and goes, oh, this is tokenism, well, it's not. This woman is super smart. She's very generous and warm-hearted humanitarian person, and I can't think of a better choice. I think she'll be great.
Historic too. She'll be the first Governor-General of Australia who's not reported to Queen Elizabeth at all since the 1940s, when Lord Gowrie was the Governor-General of Australia.
Lord Gowrie?
Lord Gowrie for a brief period of time.
Not familiar with Lord Gowrie.
I don't know much about Lord Gowrie's work, but he was the last not to have any contact with Queen Elizabeth. So since the 50s, obviously, every single Governor-General of Australia's had some contact with Queen Elizabeth, starting with the Duke of Gloucester, who at the end of his time as the Governor-General of Australia,
still like the
Queen Elizabeth.
It's almost like the gather-rounding of Australia. We've finally got a fully paid-up AFL nut in Yarralumla.
It was about to happen eventually. All right, let's go breaking up.
We're expecting some good news about the case of the Grigg family. This is the mum, Kirsty, the Scottish national, who we brought to you last week in that massive breaking at 8, which has subsequently come to the attention, I understand, has come to the attention of the Immigration Minister, Andrew Giles. So I've been told that the Griggs family has been advised, because the clock was ticking. They were meant to be leaving, or Kirsty was meant to be leaving the country on April the 9th, which is next Tuesday. Now, she's been told to upload more identity documents in pursuit of her visa application, which was cancelled due to that technicality, rejected due to that technicality. But crucially, the Griggs family has been told, don't make any flight bookings while this intervention is going on. And they've also said that if they don't get a definite yes or no by the deportation deadline of next Tuesday, not to worry, because Kirsty will be permitted to remain in Australia if she applies for a temporary living or working visa E. So the family has told me they're not reading too much into this yet, but at least they are now dealing with a human being in the immigration department. And look, I've got to say, it's a testament to the fact that they were prepared to come on our show as part of Breaking at 8 last week. It's a big testament to Southern Cross Care, where Kirsty works in aged care. We had the CEO on last week who spoke so powerfully in her support. But, I mean, really, at a time when immigration has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, once this became public, I don't see how, given what happened to Mark Green's family from Scotland last year,
Yep.
I mean, you sort of got to wonder, what have the people of Scotland ever done to upset the immigration department? I reckon if the Proclaimers had been here for WOMAD, they'd probably be on Nauru by now for a visa error. But this is an unadorned good news story, and as we said at the time, a good chance for the feds to get a rare gold star for their handling of an immigration matter. So fingers crossed, very positive signs, and let's see the Grigg family stay intact here in our fair city.
Shouldn't have knocked Lord Gowrie. He was a former governor of South Australia, actually, 1928.
Now, was his wife Lady Gowrie?
It must have been.
Lady Gowrie Drive, Largs Bay.
Yep. Alexander Hall Ruthven. It was back in the day when all governors and the Governor General was always appointed as a Brit. You never did appoint a colonial. You didn't put an Australian.
No,
so
heaven forbid.
He turned up as the Governor of South Australia, and he was on his first day here in South Australia in 1928. Then became the 10th Governor General, and even at that point, as Governor General as the 10th Governor General of Australia from 1936 to 1945. The custom was for non-Labor governments to appoint a Brit in the role. That is in our listeners' lifetime. That was what Australia was like. And here we are with a female Governor-General being announced today that is wholly Australian. And as you pointed out correctly, a commissioner at the AFL. There's about as Australian as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, it's 18 minutes after 8. We're going to go check traffic and come back shortly with Josh Rochelle. I'm going to talk footy. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up your sun protection. Stay sun smart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will. Atrod Park, multi-car smash on the Southern Expressway inbound near Majors Road. Lindock, multi-car smash on the Barossa Valley Way, delays in both directions. And Darlington Road works have speeds reduced on the Southern Expressway to the Marion Road entry, delays outbound. Cameras this morning, Briar Road, Felixstowe and Gage Street at Firle. OTR's range of barista-made coffee is available 24/7, so you can enjoy your coffee your way any time of the day or night. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Let's pull the Band-Aid off. Crows lost to Freo, for me, was eyes closed, their worst defeat for this year. Crows kicked 34 points, 4-10. They've kicked 54 points, 77 points, now 34 points, against teams that didn't make the 8 last year.
The 5AA Sports Show.
There's no leading patch, we've got no shape in front of the footy, behind the bloody footy.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Stay safe and secure with Care Alert's GPS personal alarm. If an emergency happens, just press the SOS button to call for help. And at the same time, it will send your exact location via SMS to your emergency contacts. The Care Alert also has fall detection, and you can even speak through your pendant. All for just $379 with free programming and delivery included. Contact Care Alert on 1300 75 85 95 or visit carealert.com.au.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
Samtest Seafoods invite you to savour the finest seafood at Unbeatable. I'll tell you what, all these people here for gather round. If you want a full South Australian experience, go to Samtest. Put that on your dance card because so much of it's local seafood. The lowest king prawn prices in years with raw prawns. Don't come the raw prawn with me, starting at $13.99 per kilo pack, or as a special treat, fresh cooked crayfish, $79.99 a kilo.
I know this is an ad for Samtas, but I'm inclined to go the other way, David, and say some things should remain sacred. So don't go to Samtas, whatever you do, if you come over the border. Please.
So you're saying to Steve from Swan Hill...
Yeah, I'm saying whatever you do.
It's bad enough that
leave
you're winning
something to
tickets
us
from 5AA's breakfast show.
Let us have Samtas.
Keep your hands off our calamari.
Exactly right. Experience freshness with local St Vincent Gulf garfish fillets from $42.99 and baby calamari from $17.99 a kilo, or from the Coorong, fresh mullet fillets, just $29.99 a kilo.
And then, of course, there's the deal CPI forgot. 4 kilos of Snap Frozen seafood favourites for just $60. Mix and match. It's an amazing offer.
Yep, there's premium seafood, flathead dory, emperor barramundi, Atlantic salmon and more, all in the 4 kilo deal, still just $60.
Salt and pepper squid, crumb gar, crispy tempura battered NZ whiting, all included in the 4 kilos for $60 deal. Samtest Seafoods, our king prawn, freshly opened oyster and fresh seafood specialists.
Free parking. They're open 7 days. Samtas Seafoods, where value meets quality. 201 Richmond Road, Richmond.
Living independently is an important part of life. For those who need accommodation in a thriving environment with support and care available, Always Care is always there. We'll match your loved one with suitable housemates and disability support workers to ensure they enjoy independent living in a supportive community. If you or a loved one requires accommodation with care, Always Care is NDIS approved and passionate about helping all live their life to the fullest. Find out more at alwayscare.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
He's class personified.
At 23 after 8, special gather-round edition. Josh Rochelle live in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Not just a star of footy, star of television as well last night. Josh, good morning to you, mate.
Good morning, Dan Will.
Hey, we watched that at home last night with the kids, Josh. That was a really nice show. What about Isaac Rankin, though? That was something else.
Oh, he's just unbelievable. He's got all these little talents up his sleeve, and to see him do that last night was actually really extraordinary. There was a lot of us boys went and watched him. I think about 20 to 30 boys went and wanted to go and see how he'd go because he performed the week before in front of all of us, and he did such a fantastic job.
So, and you were saying when we were chatting during the break, so he did that almost to sort of combat his nerves last week. A bit of a dry run, a bit of a dress rehearsal with you blokes.
Yeah, it was all ran by him. He said he wanted to play in front of us just to get the nerves out of the way, and I can tell you he was so much more nervous playing in front of us because out there he did such a good job, and when he was playing in front of us, he was actually closing his eyes because he could see all us in the background laughing and mucking around. So on last night, he just did such a good job, and I think as soon as the crowd started giving him a few cheers, he just went berserk.
Well, let's have a bit of a listen. Big ass. So you was his first ever performance in front of people, aside from the guys at the footy club, is on TV in front of millions of people. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I think there was close to 5,000 there, 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah.
And to just go up, he was just doing rehearsals that day, and to have Delta Goodrum perform before him as well.
Yeah, that's
as I said on TV, it was a hard act to follow.
So tell us about your DJing. Is that Sunday night?
Yeah, Sunday night, myself
With Aaliyah.
And Aaliyah, yeah. We've both got no idea what we're doing. We're just standing up, spinning a few decks, pretending like we know what we're doing. So it's going to be fun.
So have you met up with him to plan it? Have you both had to come up with set lists? And
No, we did a photo shoot last week, and we sat there and we pretended to spin a few decks, and because Aaliyah is so much taller than me, I had to stand on a crate next to him so we'd be on the same height. But yeah, nothing's planned yet.
Just run with your instincts.
Yeah, that's right.
So tomorrow night, opening of Gather Round, huge game under lights, Adelaide Oval against Melbourne. Quality opposition, have been in town all week, just had a good win over Port. Is it better to be going into a high-pressure game when the whole country's watching, or is it better to be tucked away on a Sunday afternoon on twilight?
You can go two ways with it, as you said, but I think it's a great challenge and opportunity for us to be 0-3 and to be taking on one of the best teams in the comp right now. And I think for the first couple of games, we'll probably regard it to win those games. And going into now, we're obviously the underdogs for this week's game. So I think it's, as I mentioned, a great opportunity to see what we can do in front of a big crowd to open Gather Round, because last year we did such a good job with that. So we'll see if we can do that again.
How do you, because as a fan looking at it from the outside, not know much about football, I think back, because I was at that Carlton game, and I think back to it going, my God, these guys are just linking up so beautifully. But the last 3 weeks have been no linking up at all. How can you change it? Because it looks like we've gone from that to that. Please tell me there's a way that we can.
Yeah. Well, for us, we had exactly like you. We didn't know what was going on. We're like, we've got all these little things. Is our fundamentals? Is it our connection? And then we started watching a lot of our vision from behind the goals and side on. Some of our structures have been very off, which is not normally us. So I think that's one of the big fixes for us, is to get all that in sync, because a lot of the time we're getting the ball on the wing or the halfback and we're looking up and we've got no one to kick to. That's why a lot of the teams are taking big inset marks against us. So I think if we can fix that structurally ahead of the ball, it'll help us both defensively and offensively.
So it's less changing the game plan than it is getting back to the game plan.
Yeah. For us, that's the main thing. We'll do a couple of changes this week as well. Unfortunate news to Wayne Miller, and which is a big loss for us. And Murph will be out for about 3 to 5 weeks. So good opportunity for a couple of the young boys who've been performing well at sample level to come in.
What's it like being a Shep boy being here for Gather Round? Because I know from seeing you on the panel last night, you've got all these old fossils like Kane Corns and Pav all talking about, back in the days at Sacred Heart and everything else. But people go pretty nuts for footy here, don't they?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I found it quite extraordinary last night, because I remember when I was a little kid and myself and my dad would be watching the footy show, and we'd watch Billy Brownless and all these guys. So to actually meet them now and be in a footy show felt like a dream come true. It was quite cool.
I suppose, as a 20-year-old, some of these guys are getting on for almost 2 generations older than you, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Billy, especially Billy, and Eddie Maguire as well. They're a lot older than me.
Well, that was good. They'll all be watching on Thursday night. It's going to be a great night of footy at Adelaide Oval. Let's hope it's the first quarter like last year's against Carlton, because that was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, we hope so. It was great fun that quarter. So
and also importantly, mate, good luck with the DJing.
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Will and I might have a few tips for you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, slip a couple of Sleaford Mods tracks in to fire up the crowd.
I see. Now you're talking.
Aberrant musical taste.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll win Josh any fans on the night.
Tied up in knots. Absolutely. On you, Josh.
Good on you, Josh.
Good luck tomorrow.
It's 20 after 8, 5AA News coming up.
There's a lot to love about learning just about anything with WEA. Real-time, face-to-face learning with like-minded people. WEA has 22 language courses on offer and over 80 cooking and wine appreciation courses. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
Ray White, big name in real estate, but also the biggest name in business broking. What makes us big? Our people, like Brett Buckley and his team. MBA, lecturer, and multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year. Brett doesn't just read a P&L, he feels it. If you're selling or expanding your business, Brett can take your business apart and find you more money. And we're not talking small change. Go on, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA.
All right, what have we got today? Forgot your lunch today? Yeah! Because KFC are turning your lunchtime woes into lunchtime woes with the double tender burger from $5.95. That's 2 golden tenders, lettuce and pepper mayo on a warm sesame seed bun.
Late night and regional prices may vary.
Jayco's Mega Easter stock sale is now on. Hop on down for exciting deals on all MY23 Jayco dealer stock. Save across the range. There's never been a better time to jump in a Jayco. Visit Jayco Adelaide today. End soon.
There's a lot to love about learning just about anything with WEA. Real-time, face-to-face learning with like-minded people. Learn about subdividing land and property development or gardening in a changing climate. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
The shower at 2:21 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
A man's blown almost 7 times over the limit at Gillis Plains. Senior Constable Matt Brown says he crashed into a parked car on North East Road.
The driver appeared heavily intoxicated when he got out of his silver Mazda hatch. And witnesses took the car keys from the man and waited with him until police arrived. Now, the driver, a 38-year-old man from Windsor Gardens, underwent a breath test and returned a positive reading of .336.
He lost his licence for 12 months and his car has been impounded. The Prime Minister is demanding answers from the Israeli government after an Australian aid worker was killed in Gaza. Zomi Franken was delivering food as part of the World Central Kitchen when she was killed alongside 6 others. The Israeli Prime Minister has admitted an IDF airstrike was responsible. Anthony Albanese has told the ABC it's completely unacceptable.
What we know is that the vehicle was hit, and we know as well that governments are responsible for actions that take place, and this is completely unacceptable. We await the details and we await a full explanation.
El Niño is coming to an end, according to the Weather Bureau. Surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean are expected to return to a neutral phase by later this autumn. 4 out of 7 international climate models are forecasting La Niña by winter, but Australian meteorologists are yet to make the same prediction. A new influenza vaccine has been added to the National Immunisation Program, giving vulnerable Australians another option to protect themselves. The cell-based vaccine is now available for free for eligible people at higher risk of flu complications, including pregnant women, people over 64 with a heart condition, and diabetics. Infectious disease expert Professor Robert Boy says FluCellVax Quad has been developed using dog cells, which can better adapt to virus strains in humans.
Most vaccines are grown in egg cells, chicken eggs, and that leads to mutations and are not as good a match to the WHO vaccine variant.
The founding president of the World Anti-Doping Agency has likened the AFL's drug testing regime to state-run programs allowing athletes to cheat in East Germany. Dick Pound says players being able to self-report to avoid testing on game day completely undoes the rationale of clean athletes. He's told the Herald Sun there's similarities to the 1976 Montreal Games when East German and Russian athletes were tested the day before competition. It's Gather Round Eve and the spotlight is on Adelaide. The influx of visitors is underway as we become the footy capital of Australia this weekend. Nearly 40% of all tickets sold this time around have been to footy fans either interstate or overseas. Last night's Gather Round Spectacular at the Entertainment Centre was broadcast across Australia on the 9 network. Port's Connor Rosie telling the country Adelaide is the place to be.
Yeah, it's amazing. Clearly we've only got 2 teams, so to have the whole competition here for the whole weekend, I think it's just an amazing thing for our whole state, and we usually put on a pretty good show.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Adelaide forward Josh Rochelle says the team is embracing the pressure and expectation of having to perform in front of a huge national audience when the team hosts Melbourne to kick off Gather Round tomorrow night. The Crows have made a disastrous 0-3 start to the season. Rochelle telling David and Will they have fond memories of last year's Gather Round win against Carlton and they want to replicate that performance.
A great opportunity to see what we can do in front of a big crowd to open Gather Round, because last year we did such a good job with that. So we'll see if we can do that again.
Yeah, let's hope they do. The sides for the Crows and Melbourne will be released tonight. Meantime, Geelong has avoided punishment over an unintentional breach of integrity protocols during last night's win against Hawthorn. That's where Tom Hawkins was caught on his phone. Well, Aussie golfer Cameron Smith has hinted he may not return to the PGA Tour, even if a peace deal is brokered with Live Golf. Preparing for next week's US Masters, the former British Open champion says he enjoys the extra time on the Live circuit.
Being able to spend more time in Australia, I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice, being away from my family and stuff as much as I had in the past, especially given the last couple of years. It's been so nice.
Let's go to soccer. The Central Coast Mariners have defeated Melbourne City 2-1 thanks to a late Max Ballard strike. It consolidates the Mariners' place in second and leaves City 4 points outside the A-League's top 6. With 4 games to play, Adelaide United are 9 points outside the top 6. Meantime, Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham has a lot of work to do if it wants to finish in the top 4 after being held to a 1-1 draw against West Ham this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there at Trop Park, a multi-car smash on the Southern Expressway inbound near Majors Road. At Goldview Heights, a crash on Bridge Road near Smith Road, and another collision, this one's at Evanston, Main North Road near Para Road. Look out at Lindock too, multi-car smash there on the Barossa Valley Way, delays in both directions with cameras Marion Road Glen and Gage Street at Firle. Step into the new BYD Seal with its integrated sports seats, a panoramic sunroof and immersive sound system. The BYD Seal is a journey into the future. Test drive today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
There's a Big Mac for every kind of hungry. Macca's, official partners for AFL Gather Round.
21 with a shower or two today. Tomorrow partly cloudy, 22. Friday sunny, 24. Saturday sunny, 25. Sunday partly cloudy, 24. Right now it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
What starts with A and ends with E, supplements for you and me.
Live life to the full with Arbor Vitae, the anti-inflammatory supplement made from natural ingredients. Arbor Vitae provides relief from the symptoms of mild arthritis and joint pain. It helps maintain healthy blood glucose and cholesterol levels and improves cognitive performance. For Tracy from New South Wales, Arbor Vitae has saved her career. She's a cake maker by trade and suffered with sore hands for years. After trying Arbor Vitae, all her pain disappeared, and she thanks Arbor Vitae for saving her career. Arbor Vitae health supplements are now on sale at Chemist Warehouse, Australia's cheapest chemist. arborvitae.com.au. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 9. Because we had a bit of an issue earlier with our phones not working, it means we have a huge last final 30 minutes for people who want to get along to Gather Round. Not one, but 2 competitions and 2 chances to win. Before 9 o'clock, if you know how to recite this phrase quickly...
Door beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
There'll be an opportunity for you to do so and put yourself among the top 8. The number 1 quickest version of that from a listener wins the ultimate VIP experience thanks to our great friends at Macca's. Don't call for that one yet, because right now in the studio, on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream as well, you'll note Lucy is here and she has a stack of papers which suggests it's quiz time, Luce.
It is quiz time, yes. This is our final double pass to the 4 days at Adelaide Oval.
Oh, this is it for the 4-day double pass?
For the 4-day double pass.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to have a crack for some sold-out tickets, this is the last opportunity to answer 3 perfectly levelled, intelligent questions. They are Adelaide-based, they're South Australia-based, and we live to give, so I really would love to give these away. This is the final chance for that double pass to the 4 days at Adelaide Oval. Pretty pumped, actually, if you're getting along to Adelaide Oval. This will be excellent.
So, a good vibe in town right now. I was just during the ad break going through to the tea room to replenish my cup, and Tony Jones from Channel 9/3AW is in the studio next door, broadcasting from what is normally Matt's studio into Melbourne. We've got the front bar is on Channel 7 tonight.
It's been sold out for months, the front bar.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Channel 9's big show last night. We're well and truly on
Fitzy
the...
will be live in studio with us tomorrow as well, because
That's
Fitzy's
right.
over from Sydney.
Absolutely.
Now, I like what's happened here, and people won't see this because it's behind the scenes, but Sam's put up 3 callers ready to go because Lucy's idea of an easy quiz is different to the normal person's idea of an easy quiz.
Question 1. The Torrens title system relating to land ownership. In property law, the concept of fee simple. How does the Torrens title system differ from the traditional model of property law as described by Lord Denning?
How did you get my first question, Dave?
Steve, I didn't know even what I was saying then. You would have been going, you would have passed property law.
I think I got 51%.
You know what I got for it? 4%.
That's all right.
And I walked
here
out
we
of the
are today in
exam
a radio
and I dropped
studio.
out of law. That was the day I dropped out of law. Apologies to Simon Polk. He was a valiant law lecturer, but he had no hope with me.
All right. Now that you got that off your chest,
Thank you.
Stephen is on the line as our first contestant. Morning to you, Stephen.
Morning, how are you?
Hello,
Good, thanks,
Stephen. Good news for you. There are no law questions in this. It'll be much simpler than that, I hope.
Good to hear.
All right, question 1 for you, Stephen. Inside which Adelaide shopping centre would you have once found a gum tree?
That would have been in Burnside.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Travis Boak has just played 350 games for Port Adelaide. What number is his Guernsey?
Oh, no.
It was number 1 for so long, wasn't it?
It's not anymore.
Is he number 10?
I believe so.
Well done, mate.
Last one. Here it is.
All right,
for all the
Stephen,
chocolates.
Good luck to you. The Stobie pole was invented here in South Australia. How old is the Stobie pole?
That's
which one?
I have 4 years here to pick
Oh,
from.
okay, so it's multiple choice.
Multiple choice, yes. Is it 120, 105, 100, or 95 years old?
I'll go 105.
Bad luck, Stephen. It is not 105 years old. So that question goes to Michelle in Collinswood. Michelle, how old do you think the South Australian Stobie pole is? Is it 120, 100, or 95 years old?
Hi, Lucy. I'm going to say 100.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday to the Stobie pole, yeah. Michelle is off to gather round multiple times if you'd like. Michelle, who's your team?
Awesome. The Crows, Adelaide Crows. So I've got, everything crossed for tomorrow night and, really want to wish them well.
Well, you'll be there tomorrow night, Michelle, with a double pass to Adelaide Oval. Congratulations, but never fear, we do have our Macca's tickets today and tomorrow to be in the running to win. So good luck to you all.
Yes, another chance very
100
shortly.
years. There must be an exact date when it was invented. That'll be quite a big story. I think we should have some sort of street parade for the Stobie pole for its 100th year. Part of our...
Are people generally pro-Stobie pole as a South Australian invention?
I reckon they are the ugliest and most
I don't know.
dangerous looking thing. Well, they're not
are.
dangerous looking. They're
are
demonstrably dangerous. 2 railway sleepers filled with concrete. I think
they look better than just a piece of unrefined timber.
Mm.
But yeah, they're just dangerous. How they've endured in this day and age,
It is so uniquely weird. I got a phone call a few weeks ago from one of the sub-editors at The Australian because I'd written a piece about ambulance ramping, and just instinctively I'd written, Labor tries to argue now it was one of many promises. I said it was the only one that was in posters covering every Stobie pole in the city. And this guy rang me and he said, I'm just ringing, I've got a query on your copy. What's a Stobie pole?
What's the origin of Stobie and Stobie poles? The name of the inventor.
Was it William Stobie?
William Stobie.
I think it was William.
William Stobie.
No.
Oh, okay. Lucy's got the information.
Here we go.
All right, Lucy, here we go.
I'm back. It is James Stobie.
James
Cyril Stobie. He invented it in 1924 in a response to a shortage of timber and an abundance of white ants in SA. So it's 100 years of the Stobie pole.
Did he call it the Stobie pole? That speaks to a certain level of
He was an electrical engineer, so he was a smart man. And
he was an engineer.
I'll name it after me. I believe there is somewhat in the realm of 750,000 Stobie poles in South Australia.
What are you going to call it, James, this thing you've invented? The Stobie pole.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, it's stuck because it's a South Australian thing. We talk about it weekly, the Stobie pole. You can paint Stobie poles, do what you like. SA Power Networks say in this article I found they would manufacture around 4,500 Stobie poles every year that need to replace the poles because they're 100 years old. Their working life is roughly 80, this article
80
says. So
million years.
Up there with plutonium. And about as pleasant.
Yeah. But didn't become an export industry for South Australia, did it? No country, but they weren't lining up.
No.
James Stobie's greatest invention.
No.
All right.
James Stobie.
There he is.
What if any of his descendants are listening?
Any of the Stobies? Do we have a Stobie listening right now?
They might not want to ring in, given the negative things we've said about the Stobie poles.
82230000 is the number for Stobies and non-Stobies to call in. You can text us too on the Duttons text line on any topic. Of course, the Duttons April Adventure Bonus, up to $2,000, free genuine accessories. Duttons, easy to do business with.
Big thanks to Vern Petherick, who sent through a lovely set of photographs saying, g'day Dave and Will. Lucy mentioned the sunrise this morning. Well, how's this? We had a part rainbow looking south over the Southern Freeway. Here's the view of it taken from Pasadena. Also a second shadow of the rainbow. Great 3 hours as usual. Thank you, Vern. Those photographs are beautiful. That's a cracking sunrise. Cracking rainbow. Good on you, mate.
All right, let's check traffic. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay sun smart. Download the Sun Smart app.
Thanks, Will. At Wingfield, Carvey Stobie pole on South Road at Grand Junction Road. Multi-car smash at Trott Park. It's on the Southern Expressway inbound near Majors Road, causing some really solid delays. And Golfview Heights at Crash Bridge Road near Smith Road. Burst Water Mates, look out for on the drive-in at Paynham Road near Albert Street with a camera today. Northeast Road at Modbury. Cairnsy apples are the perfect, fresh, healthy snack. Sweet and tangy with a delicious, juicy crunch. Experience the power of great taste. Grab a Cairnsy at your local supermarket or greengrocer. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings, a new way to curb shoplifting and gather round tickets to give away. Stay listening for your chance to win. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Step up your off-road camping game. Step up to independent coil spring suspension and reinforced shocks. Step up to a Red Arc battery management system. This summer, step up to an Austrac camper.
Austrac campers.
Are you ready to take control of your My Aged Care or NDIS funding? At Care Alert, we believe you should be in charge of your safety 24/7. Introducing Care Alert, your ultimate guardian with fall detection and GPS location. You can even speak through the pendant. Wherever you are, we've got you covered. And here's the best part, it could be yours for free. Secure your peace of mind today. Call 1300 75 85 95 or visit carealert.com.au.
When your loved one needs around-the-clock care, it's a lot of responsibility. Ensuring that they live independently and in comfort is a lot to consider.
Luckily, Always Care is always there. Their ability to coordinate shared and supported independent living for those needing around-the-clock care is second to none.
Always Care will expertly match your loved one with their ideal housemates based on their required level of care and personality, plus also with the right support worker. And that ensures that they receive the care they need in a harmonious and comfortable environment.
Always Care has housing access across South Australia, so your loved one won't be far. They also provide respite with like-minded housemates, so you can take some time for yourself, and this can often be a way to trial living independently. If you or a loved one needs short-term or ongoing care in perfectly matched shared living, consider Always Care. Visit alwayscare.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future, to build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.
Not all of us are lucky enough to call the hills home. We need room to breathe, space to dream. We choose to discover what is on the road less travelled. And when you turn off the freeway to Mount Barker and go left, you'll discover the home of Mazda in the hills. Mount Barker Mazda has it all. Mazda 2, 3 and 6 to BT50 and SUVs. Take the road less travelled to Mazda's home in the hills. Mount Barker Mazda, since 1954. Mount Barker Road, Totnes. LMVD 325189.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 9, some terrific pictures coming through on the Duttons text line. Adam sent us a picture from a sunrise over Lonsdale. He said when he was opening up his warehouse this morning that is absolutely beautiful. What we might do is post some of these on our social media over the course of the morning. That's a great photo. Because they are very clever people with technology these days that makes it easy to take incredible photos.
I like the one too. Ben and Claire sent a photo through. It was just wind turbines and Stobie poles outside his...
it's a postcard, isn't it?
Outside his window. No, but he said, out of my office window, a bunch of Stobie poles and wind turbines, SA all over. Keep up your great show.
See, that should have been South Australia's competitive advantage. We could have put wind turbines at the top of Stobie poles because we're the only place on earth with a structure solid enough to keep them up. Like we should have wind turbines in every street.
Is it Lockhill? Is it when you're driving from Lockhill to Port Augusta? There's that amazing stretch where there's just all of those wind turbines?
Yeah, I think it's around there.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's a path that Google Maps will tell you to wind through that I swear is the service track for the wind turbines as well, through that area. That for whatever reason, it starts to direct you that way.
How bizarre.
All right, let's. Should we put someone in the running to be the fastest
to
recite that famous
Let's do it.
Macca's verse?
Tall beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That's David doing it in just under 4 seconds, which would have got you a free Coke back in the day, but I can tell you, wouldn't win you the VIP experience because the first two people we've heard from have been faster. You might have to go at a speed more like this.
Tall beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That would definitely get you the tickets.
And that wasn't me.
That was you. This too
was that me sped up?
That was you doing it in 2 seconds. Do you want to hear you doing it in 1 second?
Yes. Sounds like one of those election ads.
Yeah.
Written authorised Michigan.
If you can do it that fast, you win. Mind you, it needs to be decipherable. That's the caveat that we put on this competition. Call now, 8223 0055. The VIP experience for Gather Round Port Neston on a Friday night at Adelaide Oval. Money can't buy experience. You get a double pass to watch the game. That's great. What's better? You get to use the Macca's zip line over the Torrens from the AFL Macca's Footy Festival in Elder Park. Plus, exclusive pre-game viewing experience by the boundary line during the team's warm-ups. So you will get a memorable money can't buy experience. You just need to be the fastest person to recite that famous Macca's Big Mac line that once would have won you a free Coke, but could win you the ultimate gather round experience today. Tim in Hallett Cove, good morning.
Good morning.
Have you heard the other people do this yet, Tim?
No.
Oh, okay, so you don't know what you're up against. Well, they've been pretty sharp, but I think you could still pip them if you're on your game.
Okay, I'll try.
Did you ever do it when you were a youngster, Tim? Are you old enough to remember when the ads were out?
Yeah, I think we used to get Benson and Hedges posters.
Yeah, the cricket posters. Yeah, the cricket posters.
Yeah.
Oh,
signed by the cigarette companies.
That's right. A different era then. Benson and Hedges sponsor everything. I tell you what, look at that old West Indies poster, you know. Desmond Haynes, Gordon Greenidge, Andy Roberts, Michael Holding, Joel Garner. Like, it wasn't a bad side, was it?
Good names, yeah.
Viv Richards.
All right, Tim. If you're ready to go, we're happy to start the stopwatch and get you in the running to win this excellent competition. You take it away when you're ready.
All right. 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Oh, my goodness. That was quick. Tim might be the man to beat. We may have a new clubhouse leader. I'm not sure, but AI Sam, he's going to run the stopwatch over it, and we will reveal on Friday morning who's getting along to the Friday night clash with this ultimate experience.
That sudden intake of breath was coming from the sound, coming from the direction of West Lakes, and it was Rick, I think, having a minor panic attack that Tim from Hallett Cove had knocked him off his perch.
Felt quick. There's no hesitation. It was enunciated beautifully.
Yeah, it was.
I heard every word, every single ingredient in the Big Mac.
Best enunciation so far.
Clear as crystal. Okay.
Tim.
Well, that was excellent, Tim. I'm looking forward to how fast our listeners can get over the course of the next couple of days. In the meantime, let's check in with Jade Robert, who's out on the road this morning. at one of many of the wonderful things that are going on across Adelaide because of Gather Round being on at the moment. Morning again, Jade.
Good morning. I'm down at Richmond Oval, and you're right, there are so many things that are happening around town, which is excellent. And that being in the lead up to the big weekend is that a lot of the clubs are doing open training sessions. So Melbourne Footy Club, the D's, they're on their way down here. Not very popular in Adelaide right now with Port fans, but and hopefully not so popular with. Well, no, hopefully we smash them with Crows playing on the opening night of Gather Round on Thursday. But look, we're returning on a bit of Melbourne weather for them here. The Melbourne media have just rocked up, and they're all complaining how cold it is, but of course the skies will open up, and the beautiful blue skies will be upon us this weekend. But we've got Cedar College, which is a specialised sports school down here, who are going to have a bit of a run around with the Melbourne D's when they arrive at about 9:30. They'll take to the track at about 9:45 for their captain's run. But it's excellent. There's a couple of local fans that are rocking up and getting amongst it, including this father and son duo who are wearing number 5. They're down here to see Christian Petrarca and get a couple of photos with their team. Here they are. I'm here with D's fans Rob and Mitchell. What's it like being able to see your D's train in your own backyard?
Amazing. It's fantastic. Love the gather round. Hope it continues on this way and we get up close and personal with, the legends of Melbourne.
You want to get a few autographs today?
Yeah, definitely. We've already got a couple from the team and we're hoping to get Petrarca's and Gawn's, and we're going to get a couple photos too.
And who's your favourite player?
Definitely Petrarca.
He's not bad, and he's pretty good at cooking as well. I hear he's going to the Adelaide Central Markets to whip up his grandma's spaghetti and meatballs. Are you going to head in there?
Maybe. I'm not really sure about that.
Sensational, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks very much. Go D's.
Good on you, Joe.
I have to say, just further to that chat we had with David Koch before about whether Gather Round should stay in Adelaide in perpetuity. You look at the NRL attendances. NRL is a hugely successful sport on TV, but for watching it live, if West's Tigers, the old Balmain, if they play St George, Illawarra in Cogra is not far from Mascot, not far from Kingsford Smith Airport. People in Balmain and Leichhardt won't travel 13 kilometres to watch the Tigers play against the Dragons in St George. They just don't do it. No, they just don't go. They don't go. So if the Premier Football Code of New South Wales, Rugby League, can't get suburban rugby league fans to go from one side of the Sydney CBD to the other, what would make anybody in the AFL think that you're going to have Sydney people in a city that's spoilt for choice in terms of activities? It would be embarrassing if the Gather Round was ever held in Sydney, and I think that's one of the best arguments that we've got in terms of keeping it forever.
Because our listeners are hilarious, we started out getting magnificent pictures of sunrises this morning, and we've ended up getting a whole stack of pictures of Stobie poles, because we talked about them a short time ago, and people just... in fact, a terrific picture from Bill, who's taken an excellent picture of a sunrise set against the backdrop of a Stobie pole, which is somewhat artistic. Max texted us on the Duttons text line and says, I had detached retinas in the early 70s and saw an eye specialist in Childers Street, North Adelaide. His name was Dr. Peter Stobie, who I believe was the son of James Stobie.
What about that?
The eye business.
How about that?
So we have tracked down the Stobie family on the program. Thank you, Max. That took about all of 7.5 minutes, I think, for Max to text in and solve that one for us. We are out of time. Stick around for Matt Pantelis, and we'll be back tomorrow morning on a footy day. Can you believe it? It's come around so fast this week. The start of Gather Round tomorrow night, Crows Demons at Adelaide Oval. We'll be broadcasting live tomorrow from 6. We'll see you then.
Your knowledge and skills have the power to brighten our world, so let them shine.